This is going to go by in a flash.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Nobody's going to give.
Whoa, now there goes that move.
Happy Harvick gets his 40th career win. Welcome to Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Phoenix on Fox, presented by AstraZeneca. 36 cars in the starting field today. You'll see them at the bottom of the screen. Ryan Blaney with his second pole here. Chase Elliott with his first front row start at Phoenix. Denny Hamlin with a win here. Kyle Busch going for the weekend sweep. Jeff, let's go back to 8th spot on the grid.
The guy that knows how to get it done around here. Kevin Harvick, Jeff, and the guys up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
10-4, buddy.
Well, man, you know how to get around this place, but it's a little bit different this time. A lot of downforce. Got the horsepower back from last week. What are your chances to get it done for a 10th time here at Phoenix?
Well, I feel pretty good about our Jimmy John's Ford Mustang from practice. I think obviously it's going to come down to keeping your track position all day, and as we've seen over the last couple weeks, just not making mistakes, because they're going to be detrimental to your day to get back in the field. So got to keep up with the racetrack. I think it's going to change, and we'll see how our car starts here and then go from there.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned the track change, and you were right on that yellow line, and you do that so well on the apron as well down in 1 and 2. But saw some guys search around that racetrack to see some higher lines. Is that something that will work for you today?
Yeah, you know, with this car, it's been a little bit off the line in 3 and 4 as you run. So I think you're either going to have to be all 4 on the apron or even up a little bit. We saw Kyle yesterday during the Xfinity race work the top of that second lane in turns 1 and 2 down there. So I think it could be an option. It just depends on how rubbered up it gets. And I think a lot of people are going to fight tight conditions today. So that usually makes the groove move up if that's the case.
All right, we're looking forward to the show. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Thank you.
This pit road is shaped like a fish hook. It presents a lot of unique challenges. Jamie Little.
Well, Chase Elliott is starting on the front row, and his crew chief Alan Gustafson told me this morning they expected to have that good speed in qualifying, but that is where the expectations end. It has been a struggle for this 9 team all weekend long. They're looking at the short run speed. It's not there, and that could hurt them on this start and the restarts. Alan is hoping that all of the changes they made last night and this morning pay off, and they can finish at least in the top 10. Matt?
Jamie lurking back in fifth is Brad Keselowski over the past 5 races, a win at Atlanta and 2 seconds. One of those coming right here at ISM last fall. They brought back that same setup, factoring in the new Mustang and also the new rules package. Brad has the feel he's looking for, that he thinks maybe today will be his first win here on the Desert Mile, Vince.
Well, during the race here last November, Eric Almirola was sitting in position to win this race. He was second on a late restart, ended up 4th. Well, again, Almirola has quietly been successful this weekend. He has been fast on the long run, and that is what everybody else has been seeking, that long run speed. Is it good enough to gain those few extra positions and get the win? Well, they're as anxious to find out as we are.
Thanks, Vince. 1 to go around this unique 1 mile oval. And let's see how this race lays out today. Larry.
Yeah, let's take a look at our race analysis, Mike. Short race, as I mentioned, 312 laps, 312 miles. The stage is 75, 75, and 162 to the checkered flag. Pit road speed, pay close attention. 45 miles per hour. The fuel window, 78 to 84 laps, Mike.
Thanks, Larry. So why do they call this a 500? Because 312 miles is 500 kilometers.
Perfect.
What a beautiful day in the desert, the greenness of spring here in the Arizona desert. Temperature's going to be in the low 70s. Track temp, full sun, 94. Not yet, Darrell. They moved the start-finish line. Not yet.
I was getting ready to go.
I know.
Cars up. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right there is where the start-finish line used to be, that dark stripe across the track. But beginning last fall, they moved it around here to the exit of turn number 2, heading for the dogleg. That will make the start and restarts wild in the west.
I believe you're right, Mike. And listen, all you folks at home, get your boogity on, okay? Let's go boogity, 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 and go racing, boys!
Chase Elliott off the outside of the new turn 2 and into the lead for lap 1.
Yeah, interesting lane choice by Ryan Blaney to use the inside. We saw where his car was really loose in the first couple laps in practice, so I'm kind of surprised that he chose that inside lane, but great job to Chase Elliott fight back on the outside.
Nine got a pretty nice start there, Mike.
He might have gotten too good of a start.
Yes, he did. The word is that Chase Elliott has a start violation.
Wow.
And he will have to do a pass-through penalty. Let's take another look at it. Ryan Blaney, the pole sitter. That green and white car is the control car.
Yes, so
here they come to green.
You can't beat that leader to the start-finish line. You can see right there Chase Elliott starts to accelerate and get a nose on Ryan Blaney in that 12 car as they get to that start-finish line.
It's close.
Now, this is one of the longest pit roads in racing, so that pass-through penalty, Larry, will be costly.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we clarify the start of the race is different from a restart. The start of the race, the leader controls it to the start-finish line. Now, if it's a restart, it happens in the restart zone, but the start of the race is totally different.
Mike, one good thing about this, we got the 9 car on pit road. We're going to see how many laps he loses, 1 or 2. We talked about that, and we were anxious, or not anxious, but wondering how it was going to turn out. We'll see with the 9 car.
45 miles an hour.
Certainly going to help that he was the leader, so allowed him to get to pit road very aggressively.
Takes about 35 seconds from the entrance to the exit of pit road. Here comes Chase exiting pit road. Now he's accelerating as leader Ryan Blaney is right between turns 3 and 4. And it looks as if the 9 will stay on the lead lap.
He's still leading the race. No.
That's not the line anymore. No. But the leaders have him in sight. So Blaney, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, who used about the 8th lane down from the wall through the dogleg on the first lap of the race.
I saw that too, Mike, and man, smoke, dust, sparks were flying out from under his car, the 2 car, when he went down on that apron through the dogleg here. Pretty violent looking.
Jimmy Johnson just tried it, dropping it down to the apron to get on the inside and try to make himself a pass back outside the top 10. There's Keselowski, who has climbed from 5th to 3rd. Then there's Johnson, who's trying to make that move on Paul Menard, and Ricky Stenhouse right with him with a little wiggle wobble into the corner.
I think a lot of these drivers were very anxious to get this green flag to see what racing in traffic. This is the first time we've had this big of a spoiler and front splitter here at Phoenix. Cars are driving really good. Drivers love the aggressiveness that they have, but in traffic they were pretty concerned.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, the other thing, the weather is it's so much warmer today. I mean, it's sunny, hot. What is it, about 82, 85 degrees? That's hot.
Great view down this front straightaway. Here, I know you've mentioned it before, how it goes up and it goes down into turn 1. Great view from our visor camera with Stenhouse.
Teammates 6th and 7th, Hamlin and Truex. Martin Truex showed some good long run speed in practice yesterday.
But you know, Mike, I was kind of amused at talking to some of the guys. They said, I don't think I got a very good car today. They weren't real optimistic about their chances today. And the other guys were right on. They said, we're going to win this thing. So really 2 different attitudes about drivers.
So Chase Elliott had the lead on the start, but he beat pole sitter Ryan Blaney to the line. Here is their in-car radio.
I went at the literal exact same time, and then he's punished. But, I mean, it's all good. Yeah, so you did a great job there. I think the rule is beating them to the line, but certainly not fair if he doesn't do his job. You did yours. Just focus moving forward. We'll be fine.
That's Alan Gustafson, and he's won a lot of races here with other drivers. I like that calmness.
Yep, Chase Elliott saying Ryan Blaney spun the tires on the start, broke traction. But Blaney is our leader with 11 laps complete. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing is sponsored by the Ford Hall of Fans. Are you NASCAR's biggest fan? Go to Ford.com/NASCAR. 16 laps complete. Ryan Blaney leading. Here today's Ford Performance Track Facts. Alan Kulwicki won the first Cup race here and debuted his self-styled Polish victory lap, 1988. And Ford won 11 of the first 15 Phoenix Cup races from then to 2002.
Mike, right now in this point of the race, we come up on 20 laps. This one, the crew chief tells her, all right, you've settled in, your pressures have come up. Tell me about your car. This is about when you'd like to get some feedback from a driver about what the car needs.
Kyle Busch up to second, 1 second back. Yesterday, he scored his 94th victory in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Looked like he would face a challenge in the closing laps, but his two closest contenders, Justin Allgaier and the 20,
Bell.
caught up in somebody else's mess, hit the wall, and were out of the race when a lap car blew up in front of him. So Brad Keselowski third. And then the first two Chevrolets in the field are those two young Hendrick drivers we met during the grid walk. Alex Bowman from Tucson, just a couple of hours down the road from Phoenix here, down I-10.
And we've seen what Alex Bowman can do in this 88 car when he filled in for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Incredibly impressive at this racetrack with Greg Ives. So looks like that combination is working pretty well for him again today.
I love Bowman. Talked to him there on the pre-race show. You know, he called Greg Ives, his crew chief, the Riddler. I said, what do you call him a riddler for? Because he speaks in riddles. Everything is a riddle. You don't want anybody to interpret what he's talking about.
Well, let's ask Jamie.
Well, Alex Bowman, I talked to him this morning, and he was really bummed out. He just didn't know what to expect for today. He said this track is really different with the setup of the race car. The way you have to drive it is so much more aggressive than before, so he didn't expect much. Well, so far, he says he's really good at one end, a little bit loose in the other end. But another issue he's having right now is a little bit of brake shake, and you hear that from different drivers. So let's go over to our crew chief, Larry Mack. What exactly does he mean by brake shake, and what can he do to fix it?
Well, I think the biggest thing, Jamie, what he's describing is when he puts his foot on the brake pedal, he is feeling a vibration back through the rotors. And you know, brakes are so different today. We always get concerned about brakes having too much heat, but it's almost like the brakes today, Jamie, they need a little additional heat, and I think that's one reason I don't see that big of brake openings on the front of these cars. The brakes may not have enough heat on them just yet, and that's why he's getting that.
William Byron fifth, 7 seconds back.
Yeah, Chad Canals. Remember yesterday, I think it was, no, it was qualifying on Friday, when William cut the car off over on the back stretch because he forgot he was supposed to run another lap. I'm sure they kidnapped the real Chad Canals because he said, that's all right, buddy, don't worry about it, we'll overcome it.
Now Chase Elliott, who started outside pole, had to do that drive-through penalty. Here is leader Ryan Blaney down the front straightaway, and lap traffic is kind of holding up Elliott, who's the last car on the lead lap.
I think lap traffic is going to be a big factor today for our leaders. Right now with the 9 of Chase Elliott trying to stay on that lead lap, he's being really aggressive to try to get by some of these cars, but you know, those are actually positioned, so those guys are not just going to give it to Chase Elliott.
That 12 has been fast ever since they unloaded here Friday. Qualified on the pole, leading the race.
24 laps complete. Ryan Blaney out front. Player of the Year candidate Marcus Howard, defending champ Villanova, and the Big East battle it out for conference supremacy. The 2019 Big East tournament tips off at Madison Square Garden March 13th through 16th on Fox, FS1, and the Fox Sports app. Ryan Blaney has led every lap so far, but here comes Kyle Busch, that is, coming off his Saturday win, who started fourth up to second, and two of Kyle's teammates have been battling hard for the fifth spot.
Just outside, clear.
Yeah, we had actually watched Martin Truex Jr. in that number 19 in practice. His car did not take off very good, but on the long runs, it was one of the best cars. And so we see now, you know, this run starting to get longer. See Joey Logano making a move on William Byron. And then one of the other things, we talked to the 11 Denny Hamlin pre-race, talking about him using that outside groove. He's already searching the racetrack and making it work up here. Watch what Denny Hamlin does as he goes down in here into turns 1 and 2.
Wow.
Quite a bit of grip on the outside of 1 and 2 down there. Always has been. Turns 3 and 4 here a little different. Layout a little bit different.
That's just great to see that we've got a couple grooves already forming here early in this race as rubber's laying down the track.
Run coming top. He's there outside.
You're on the nationwide in-car camera of Alex Bowman as Martin Truex pulls alongside.
Clear by 3 behind him to the 4th.
Now, Mike, it's about the time when if you got a good long run car, you're going to start to see it. The guys with a shorter run car are going to start to fall back a little bit. Guys that have got a good car for a longer run, you're going to see them start to move forward like we're seeing with the 19 car.
So here comes Harvick in the 4, to your point, and Joey Logano in the 22.
Clear 22, come with 2 back.
We heard Alex Bowman talk about some of the challenges that they were dealing with, and looks like they're going to have to make some more adjustments throughout this race. Here's a great battle heating up for the lead.
Chris Buescher, who was fastest in yesterday morning's practice, trying to stay on the lead lap. Blaney trying to get by, and Kyle Busch trying to take advantage.
And he did. Went around him on the outside with using the 37 there as a pick. That's just good anticipation right there.
Well, and a lot of times you're in a better position being in second than you are actually leading. When you're coming up on some of these lap cars, when you're in second like Kyle Busch was, you can look ahead and see what's happening and maybe plan a way to get that momentum to make that move work, which he did a great job of.
So the laps that Chase Elliott led from the green flag actually are credited to Ryan Blaney, since Chase was penalized for that start. So Blaney led the first 35 laps, and now the Candyman's out front.
He said he liked this paint scheme and has been very successful with it.
Erik Jones caught in the middle. That's Kurt Busch down on the inside, and the lapped car of Cody Ware up on the outside. Here's Erik Jones' audio. Whoa!
Really bad vibration. I don't really know what it is.
Hold on.
And now we know.
What did that? Was that a tire?
Yeah,
right rear?
Right
looked
rear.
like a right rear tire down.
So I wonder if that vibration had something to do with the right rear rotor heating up, or maybe even had it come apart.
What a break for Chase Elliott. He'll get to come around now. Erik Jones was 12th, Jamie.
Well, he was complaining that he had a vibration and thought maybe it was a loose wheel, but then he said to his crew chief just a few moments ago, remember that right rear shock issue we had at Charlotte last year? I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's happening here. He said it feels like it's about to fall apart, and that was 1 lap before he spun.
See the back of the car already got a lot of vibration in it there.
See the tire come apart.
Tire blew out.
I mean, if they were to have a mount with that shock brake and that shock come over and rub the right rear tire, that could have caused it, or if it was in the brake pedal. But it sounds like Erik Jones seemed to think it was more of what was going on with that right rear shock.
And you know what? It sounds like he knows that they know what it is, because, you know, when he said it feels like what happened at Charlotte.
Nice job keeping it off the wall, trying to minimize the damage. And here it is in real time. You get a chance to see how quick you have to react to that situation.
And there's almost nothing you can do when you have a right rear tire that blows out like that going in the corner. So yeah, you're right, Mike. Great job.
So Larry, track position or 4 tires? What do you want?
Yeah, Mike, we're halfway through this stage. I mean, we ran over 35 laps, which means when we go back, there's going to be over 30 laps to go. I think you have to come get 4 tires here, but there may be some drivers near the back that rolls the dice and comes and get rights only. But I think 4 tires is the way to go, especially as hot as the track is.
Well, Chris Buescher is the first car 1 lap down at the moment of caution. He will get the free pass. So the newly configured pit road, it's shaped like a fish hook. You enter at the top where you tie the hook to the line. That is up at the top of turn 2. You come all the way down the straight part of the hook, and then most of the pits are in the hook end, what is now turns 3 and 4.
That's a long ride down through there till you get to your pit box.
And a lot of timing loops where you can get yourself in trouble by speeding.
20 of them. 20 timing loops.
So here they come, Matt.
Mike, you mentioned the fish hook. These pit boxes polished concrete, 40 by 11. Kyle Busch's team goes to work, gingerly runs around the car, not to slip, extra traction grip on the boxes. No changes really to Busch's 18. The car a little tight, a little free. Meanwhile, a little bit farther up on the back straightaway is the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Track bar adjustment and air pressure change for him. Jamie.
Ryan Blaney in that coveted #1 pit box, just a little bit loose on entry and tight in the middle. They're going to drop the air pressure a bit on the front tires. It'll be a 4-tire stop here for the 12 as they keep an eye on the competition to see. They'll drop that jack as soon as they need to.
Denny Hamlin is first off pit road. Austin Dillon, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, and then Ryan Blaney.
A few 2-tire stops for their top 3 off pit road.
41 laps complete. We're under caution. Coming down the backstretch, getting ready for the restart. Hamlin and Dillon on the front row. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Keselowski and Blaney, Logano, Almirola, Harvick and Byron, the top 10. Buescher the free pass. Too fast entering Ryan Newman. He goes to the back of the line. Too fast exiting Martin Truex. He drops out of line to go to the back, and we are ready for the restart.
5, 4, 3, green flag. You went early, way early. You're clear all around. When you get there, do not change lane, and you're clear. All clear. 48 outside the 2. 22 still right on you. Still outside the 2. Still outside just the 2. Quarter. Half lane all clear. You into 3, full bottom. Clear. Behind the 4 is clear. Behind the 4 is clear. Right at your door, half off. Still there, clear. Outside, looking outside. He's there. Lane between, he's out there, good behind. Downforce pan all. Still out there, 1 lane up, there you go. Still outside. They're still out, 41. Still out. Clear out.
Kyle Busch plus 3 spots back to the lead. Ryan Blaney plus 2 spots. That's 4 tires. What'd you say earlier? 4 tires better than 2?
You got that right. No, 4 better than 8 or better than 4.
Oh, that's right.
When you have to lean on somebody.
Yes.
But I think this is going to be a great lesson for some of these guys that took 2 tires to just see what it reacts like in these early stages when you're really battling aggressively on a restart.
I'll tell you what those 4 tires did for Kyle Busch. It allowed him to pass everybody on the outside. He just went around them flying.
All right, Jimmy Johnson in the top 5, Vince.
Well, and they took 2 tires, just right sides, to try to gain that track position, and it worked. It moved him up inside the top 5, currently running 5th. They really felt like coming into this race that they had to get the car better, especially to get it to turn without unhooking the center and the exit, or unhooking the entry and the exit. Right now taking a challenge for Merrick Almirola in the 10.
That'll be for 5th place. Look behind them, the battle for 7th. Penske teammates going at it. Looks like the last lap last week all over again.
And Harvick's going to join in there, make it 3 wide.
Bottom.
Downstairs for Harvick.
Bottom still.
And he pops out ahead of Keselowski.
And down below that yellow line, you know, there's just a ton of grip in that first, second turn down below that yellow line.
All 4 tires below that yellow line.
Well, it's definitely the short way down the front straightaway when you take to the inside here.
So you got Penske teammates. They're stalling one another out by running side by side. Kevin Harvick takes full advantage of that.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick got a great, when he drove down underneath those guys, he got a good pull, went right by him.
See if he does it again right here. And as we watch this battle side by side, Logano and Jimmy Johnson for 6th place. Let's find out what happened to bring out that caution with Eric Jones. Jamie.
And Eric Jones was running top 10, so they just took that tire up and took a look at it. They think it was indeed just a loose right rear wheel, but there's significant damage to that 20 car. They're not sure how long they can hang on. Right now, he's last, 3 laps down.
I've never seen a loose tire cause one to explode like that.
No, I'm kind of with you. But that's their story, and I'm pretty sure they're going to stick to it.
Now Jimmy Johnson restarted 3rd. Was he one of those took 2 tires?
He was.
He was.
Yeah, but he was 17th when that sequence of stops started on that caution. So, I mean, a big gain right now. It's just whether or not it ever levels out.
Ricky Stenhouse, you're watching from our Ford onboard camera as Kyle Larson goes by. Larson had to start 31st today because during the final round of qualifying, or during the, first round of qualifying yesterday, Larson did not get his money lap in before time expired and found himself deep in the field on the start. Vince?
Well, and he's been one of the cars, certainly in my section, that hasn't been complaining about the handling of the car. In fact, saying that he really has good front grip. So he wanted to make sure if they could improve the rear grip, great, but please don't hurt the front. No changes, just 4 tires on that stop, and Larson's on the move.
He's got a long way to go from 31st at the start. Kyle Larson up to 13th, built for the playoffs, presented by Ram. Kyle Larson finished 9th in the playoff last year, has led a lot of laps this year.
Yeah, it just hasn't had the results to really show it. But look down there, led the most laps. I mean, they've had speed. Certainly have been the leader when it comes to the Chevrolets. They just got to get some breaks and make some things happen on pit road. Eliminate mistakes.
I kind of expected him to run pretty good today. It's hot, it's slick, the car moves around a lot. He runs that high line, he loves that. Could fall right into his wheelhouse.
14th place now for Chase Elliott as he passes Ricky Stenhouse. And Kyle Larson just ahead, about to make the move on Keselowski. Matt?
Mike Keselowski trying to diagnose what's wrong with the 2 car. About 5 laps ago, he told Paul Wolfe, I'm not sure what's wrong. I may have a tire going down. It simply will not turn. About 2 laps after that, he says, it's definitely not a dirty air issue. It is something else. You just see him lose spot after spot on the racetrack.
And Manny, I saw early in the race, first few laps, he drove down on the apron and sparks and dust and everything was flying out from that car. It bottomed out hard. I don't know if that affected the car or not, but it sure didn't look good.
Well, I wonder if it's so low, it's on the splitter, and that's what's causing that car to be so tight, especially now after a pit stop when the air pressures are low. But he's struggling. You can really see, I mean, everybody's going by him. He's having a tough time getting it to cut through the center.
I think when you got a problem a lot of times, Jeff, you know, you just want to kind of get everybody away from around you so you can analyze what your problem is. It could be something as easy as on the splitter, or it could be something going wrong with the car. We haven't seen a lot of people cut this corner yet. We've seen a few do it and gain from it, but it still might. It's really dirty when you get down below that yellow line through the dog leg.
Jimmy Johnson's probably done it more than anybody else. Now here's Kevin Harvick, restarted 9th. Jamie, he's up to 7th.
Well, Mike, as you know, walking through the garage this morning, all crew chiefs had their eye on the Ford. They thought he was definitely going to be the car to beat today. Even his crew chief, Rodney Childers, told me they felt really good by the end of practice yesterday. He didn't feel like they made a single wrong adjustment. It was just fine-tuning this race car. But since the race has started, Kevin said he's just sideways loose, no grip on exit. On that stop, they put 4 tires on it, wedge and air pressure adjustment.
I think it's a big race today for this Ford team, Mike. They've struggled a couple of races here at Atlanta where we expect him to win. Vegas last week. If he doesn't win today, they got some issues.
Up front, it's the Joe Gibbs Toyotas of Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin.
Big shout out to Denny Hamlin. You know, making that gutsy call, take 2 tires, get the track position, and he's hanging in there tough in that second position with those 2 tires.
Here's our Toyota onboard camera, riding with Hamlin in 2nd place as Ryan Blaney closes in. 15 laps to go in stage 1 of this 3-stage play. We're going to take you side by side. Welcome back to ISM Raceway in Phoenix. The Ticket Guardian 500 is under caution for Brad Keselowski, who got into the wall in turn number 1 after something broke in the right front. Watch that yellow and black car.
He feels it right there, Mike. He starts, the car wiggles around. You see it. It has the look of a flat tire.
Well, I don't. It's either a right front suspension issue. Ryan Preece, excellent job of avoiding that.
But I think Brad was right. I don't think he ever hit the wall very hard. It surely didn't look like it.
But with all those sparks, I'm with Jeff. Something in that right front broke. and sent that car up toward the wall. Now, early in the race, he had been the most aggressive at diving down to the apron coming through the dogleg, and we saw a lot of sparks then. Could that have broken or at least weakened something in that car?
Well, it's very possible.
And Brad made some interesting comments this week talking about what Penske was going to be doing to really get aggressive with not just how their strategy is going to work out, but also be aggressive with some of the components on the car.
10 laps to go in stage 1. We have a few takers on pit road. Matt?
Mike, split strategies, different teams staying out, hitting pit road. Kyle Busch was basically going to go for tires. He asked Adam Stevens, do we have plenty of tires for today? He says, absolutely. He goes, well, I'm going to come then. No adjustments here on the 18, Vince.
And the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, they're just down on grip. He said he likes the balance. He just doesn't feel like he's got the grip he needs. 4 tire change, Jamie.
Definitely a debate for Denny Hamlin in the 11. Remember, they took right sides only on that last stop. He said he wanted a major adjustment. He's been really loose. So it's a 4-tire stop here for Hamlin.
10 lead lap cars stayed on track. Ryan Blaney, Almirola, Logano, the first 3. So this race off pit road will be to start 11th on back.
That makes a lot of sense now why Denny Hamlin was pretty good there on 2 tires. If you're loose, normally 2 tires are going to tighten the car up a good bit.
Sparking a little more heat in the Phoenix Desert. Brad Keselowski brings out caution number 2.
Sean Hannity, Straight Talk.
This story is critical for this country.
With exclusive interviews.
Shouldn't the win be about the country being safer, more secure?
They know what I'm saying is 100% right.
And the real honest opinion America trusts.
I'm fighting for you, the American people.
Sean Hannity, weeknights, real news, real honest opinion.
It's here and it's available today at your local Chevy dealer. The all-new Silverado. The strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. We were ready for the restart, but Daniel Suarez's car came to a halt just after the dogleg, and not running. He has been pushed to pit road. So we will add a lap here before we go back to green. Tough break for Dan, who's had an eventful weekend that began when he went to the hockey game here Thursday night. Michael McDowell was also in attendance. A number of NASCAR drivers went. And then Friday after qualifying, Suarez felt he was blocked on his flying lap. He went to go talk to McDowell, who wrestled him. Suarez threw McDowell to the ground. Crewmen got involved and intervened. They spent some time the next morning in the NASCAR trailer after they had talked it out. And then today, guess what? Since they qualified side by side, they got to ride in the same truck around the racetrack and wave to the fans. But by now, everything seems to be okay. Here's Jamie on the 41.
Well, I talked to Daniel right before he got in the car, and I said, what was that ride around like? He said, it was a little awkward. I said, well, what did you say? He said, I told Michael straight up, if you see the 41 again on the racetrack, I expect much more respect than you gave me on Friday. They agreed, but definitely not friends moving forward at this point. Now, the 41 race car, he has no response. When he switched, he told the team he hit the kill switch to cool down the engine, and when he tried to start it back up, there was no response. So they just switched out the battery and see if he can last till the end of the race, guys.
Well, these electronic engine management systems, they do have a definite starting procedure when that happens. Back under green, and it's Ryan Blaney as Almirola doesn't go, and they fan out 4 wide.
Now we're going to take advantage of that.
Now we're talking.
Wow, look how low they are.
Look at Larson right
Look where Larson is. He's 2 lanes below the yellow line. He's down on the apron next to the wall.
Back, half back up top.
And he's going to get back. Oh, I thought Kyle Busch was going to go to the inside.
I think Kyle cut him a little slack.
Denny Hamlin with a nudge to Hemrick, and here we're 3 wide again through this through this dogleg and down into the corner with Blaney, your leader. 4 laps to go in the stage. Everybody fighting for stage points and track position. Look at that. Man, what a crowd back there. Larson trying to hold on to 5th. Kyle Busch wanting 5th. Harvick trying to stay 10th by himself. Here's the group behind him.
It's a heck of a view right here from the booth now, where we can see these cars drive down on that apron through the dogleg here. That's pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, Kyle Busch just went about 3-4 car widths down on that apron to make that pass on Larson. That just shows you how much grip there is in these cars this year with all that downforce that they have with that big spoiler.
Pit road closed with 2 laps to go in the session, in this stage rather. Daniel Suarez got back on track, lost just 1 lap through all that. Bowyer down to the bottom, that orange number 14. Ryan Blaney now alone out front by half a second over Almirola.
So it's going to get really interesting here. You know, Ryan Blaney pretty much going to get these playoff points at stage points, but you've got the 18 of Kyle Busch, who came in, took those 4 tires on that last caution. Will he stay out?
3 wide again. Stenhouse with a big move there, caught in the middle. And 10th place right now, Kevin Harvick is going to hold off Denny Hamlin, it looks like, to score the final stage point, as Blaney gets the green and white checkered flag, winner of stage 1 from the pole.
Harvick was looking for another point himself, almost got by Chase Elliott there for 9th.
But this car right here, good on the short run. I don't think he's got the long run speed yet, but he's really good on that short run.
For the second time this year, Ryan Blaney is a stage winner. Stage 1 complete. Ryan Blaney the stage winner. Brad Keselowski, apparently there was no broken parts on his car. They got him back out, and he will get the free pass, being the first car 1 lap down. Blaney, Almirola, Logano, Bowman, and Kyle Busch, the first 5 to take the flag at the end of the first stage. Getting ready for pit stops. 2 cautions so far, lap 39, lap 63, and the stage ending caution, lap 75.
See,
and not everybody's coming.
Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, all those guys that took 4, they're staying out.
Pit road open. Vince.
And because so many will be staying out, this team is anticipating a restart deeper in the pack, talking about the Smithfield Ford of Aric Almirola. So they're going to free him up, knowing he's going to have to restart in traffic. It's going to be a 4-tire change, air pressure, and a chassis adjustment for the 10 who pitted from 2nd place. Jamie?
Joey Logano in the 22 said the car was better there, a little bit more turns, so he is happy with it as they continue to adjust with an air pressure adjustment. The 88 of Alex Bowman said his car just a little bit tight in 3 and 4, good in 1 and 2. And there is Ryan Blaney. They're kind of kicking themselves for not coming in earlier, so they had to pit here, a 4-tire stop, and they made an air pressure adjustment, track bar adjustment as well for the 12.
Thanks, Jamie. He'll be 3rd off pit road, just beating Kyle Larson.
What do you say we talk to that young man?
I think we should.
Ryan Blaney, it's a DW. Got a copy there, buddy?
Yeah, good.
Man, I mean, you've had a fast horse ever since you got here. You won practice, you start on a pole, you won the stage. How's it feeling? How's it going out there today? Feeling good?
I can always feel better. I thought our car has pretty good short run speed, and maybe 3rd lap standing kind of falls off. The 18 was pretty good that first run, so now we're kind of off sequence and see how our car drives up through the field. But yeah, just trying to get a little bit of long run speed in it, keep some turn in it, and see what we can do. But still got a long ways to go. Hopefully we can make a charge back up through here and contend for this thing.
All right, buddy. Well, get her tightened up, and we'll keep watching.
Bye.
You got to love that these athletes will share their thoughts with us and with you at home while on the field of play. 80 laps complete in Phoenix.
Thank you.
13 drivers at the front of the field did not stop. So with 30 cars on the lead lap, here they come to the Geico restart zone for stage 2.
Green. Go outside, 14. Watch your bottom 11 trying to get down there. You're clear him. One outside, just one. One outside.
5 wide.
Inside, you got the momentum. There, just the 19. 2 by 2 behind. Clear on exit.
Man, they made it. I didn't take that. I said, no way.
My breath, it's not over yet.
3 wide into turn 3.
17, nothing out back. 17 still out there. There you go, buddy. Still drive off at 43 of the 12 there. Nothing out back. That 13 is 2 below. Still 2 inside. 3 wide. You're cool.
Ty Dillon stuck in the middle.
Mike, one thing I can say, if it's paved, they're going to use it. They're all over the place.
And these spotters are getting their money, or getting a workout today.
Looking at Eric Almirola in the 10. He's back in 22nd place after a difficult pit stop.
Yeah, you'll see it. The jack goes down. When he comes around left side, you're going to see the jackman put the jack on there. He's going to go help with the rear tire, and all of a sudden, the car goes down.
So he restarted 22nd. He's picked up 3. Kyle Busch out front. Clint Bowyer in second place. Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin. 3 Toyotas, 2 Fords in the top 5.
Mike, if you straighten out a dog leg, what do you call it?
A straightaway?
That's what they do. They come out. They don't even use the dog leg.
Really impressed with Clint Bowyer right here. He's had some struggles at this track in recent races and did not qualify well, but yet look at him right now up there in second position.
Yeah, I think his last top 5 here was about a decade ago. Joey Logano, Paul Menard, and Matt DiBenedetto.
Joey Logano, one of those that stopped on that last caution, took 4 tires. I think he has a car that can compete right now with our leader, 18 of Kyle Busch.
You know what? I think that 4 car is coming alive too.
Now, Brad Keselowski got the free pass, but they had a 2-minute pit stop, which put him back again a lap down, Matt.
Just outside the top 30, Mike, and Goodyear engineers took a look at that right front. I talked to Paul Wolf. It's obvious that they lost air in that right front. They're not 100% positive what it was, but looking at the carcass that was left, you could see that there was a rub on the inside of the sidewall. Not sure if that started to take place when it started losing air, and then the sway bar arm, they started dragging that, and then you saw the end result. Just trying to rebound here on the deuce.
So Keselowski will be back again battling for the free pass. The only other car 1 lap down is Daniel Suarez.
Mike, that thing will drag on that rub on that sway bar arm. That doesn't happen very often. It does happen occasionally. But if you don't have enough spacer on that right front and you get the right front, it'll rub on the upper A arm and rub the sidewall out of the tire too.
Kyle Larson 18th, William Byron 19th after their pit stops. Trying to work back up through. Again, 13 cars restarted without making a stop at the end of the first stage, and that includes all of the first 8 cars back to Kurt Busch. 12th place, Chase Elliott did stop. Matt DiBenedetto did not. There's fresh tires working for you on the 9.
Yeah, and I think Chase Elliott has an excellent race car. We saw how he was able to stay ahead of our leader when he had that issue on the original start. He stayed ahead of our leader, Ryan Blaney. And I think he has the confidence and the balance of this race car if they could just get that track position.
Yeah, and when you beat yourself like that on the start of the race, I mean, it puts you in a hole and you got to dig yourself out. It's going to take a while. But I'm with you, Jeff. I think that 9 car is pretty darn good. And what I liked was Alan Gustafson and him talking about it, and they were not panicking. We'll get it back. That's what I want to hear.
Well, sometimes if you're going to have a problem, you want it to happen very early in the race, especially this race. It's such a short race. You almost can't afford to have any issues. But if you're going to have it, maybe lap 1 is the way
That's
to do it.
Now Stenhouse and DiBenedetto on the same tire schedule. And here's the fight for the free pass.
Well, we had just seen where Keselowski had position on Suarez, but now Suarez is fighting back.
That's Suarez a fighter, boys. I'm just going to tell you.
And the Dillon brothers having a little dust up here. Austin and Ty both came in for tires at the end of stage 1. That 41 and 2 battle won't quit. They're still side by side.
Yeah, Keselowski is not wanting to give up that position. He wants that lap back if that caution comes out.
Now Bubba Wallace did not stop at the end of the stage. Eric Almirola did. Almirola trying to get back up to the front.
Now I think Bubba finished 10th here in the fall race last year, so he gets around his joint pretty good. Car's not too bad today.
Yep.
Kyle Busch out front of Clint Bowyer, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, and Denny Hamlin. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. 101 laps complete. Kyle Busch out front. He leads your list of Toyota's top performers. Busch the leader. He's been out front for 47 laps. Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin 4th, 5th. Matt DiBenedetto 13th, and Eric Jones brought out the first caution of the day. He is 7 laps down. That fight to be the free pass car that just won't quit, will it? They did run single file for a while, and then 2 more laps side by side, and things got a little close for comfort.
You see Suarez gets a good run off of turn 4 there. Runs Brad Keselowski a little wide. Brad has to lift. He gets the spot.
One of them is going to get their lap back on the next caution flag. They are the only 2 cars 1 lap down.
Yeah, I think Suarez is a little bit better. He's pulling away from Keselowski there. Now they got around him and quit battling each other. So I believe the 41 might be a little bit better.
Larry Mack.
Well, Matt Yoakum was talking about Brad Keselowski in the 2 car, possibly that tire going soft and actually rubbing the sway bar arm. Let's go to our Ford Performance Cutaway car, and I'm going to show you probably what was going on right there. The front sway bar is the front anti-roll bar, and it pretty much has arms that connect it to the right front and the left front right there. And a lot of times they'll put a little bit of a bend in that arm. Well, if this right front tire was going soft, this sidewall was deflected and it rubbed right there, if that's exactly what happened. I think that's what Brad was feeling. They only start the right front tire with about 30 to 32 PSI. If it was going soft, it really deflects that sidewall, and that's what could rub that sway bar on.
Thanks, Larry. 2 of those Mustangs fighting for 9th place. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Penske teammates. Well, you're out of the throttle for a long time here. You can hear just counting until you can get back in the gas.
And Mike, that's the difference I see from today versus yesterday in practice. That sun is beating down on this racetrack. Track temp has come up. It's a lot slicker. We've seen all weekend long. They've been wide open early in the middle of the corner. But I think now that it's slick and these tires are building up air pressure, they're losing grip and out of the throttle a lot longer.
I think they're out of the throttle, but man, when they get back in the gas, they don't mess around. They mat it and come up off the corner. They got a good forward bite in these cars with the tire and the downforce combination.
Kyle Busch leading with 107 laps complete. Here's a quick word from Duracell.
This is the #1 trusted brand.
Let's check with Matt Yoakum on our leader.
Mike, at the end of stage 1, you can hear the consternation and disappointment in Kyle Busch's voice when he came on the radio and said, I hit some debris on the racetrack. He had Adam Stevens look at it from on top of the pit box. His spotter, Tony Hirschman III, took a look at it as well. He felt like it was a splitter, and he ran it over with the right front. They looked at the tire the best they could on the racetrack, and everything looked okay. They kept him out for that position and to continue on with their strategy. Looks like they dodged a bullet.
Yeah, looking at the nose of the car, it looks pretty clean to me. I don't see any issues. Nothing obvious.
You know, nice job by his teammate Martin Truex. They used a combination of speed and strategy to rebound from a speeding penalty back at lap 39. Truex in 4th place and, you know, solidly top 5.
Well, our whole top 8 right now, Mike, are all drivers and teams that stayed out on that last caution using that strategy. must feel pretty good about their race cars, and so far that's working out really well for them.
Yeah, we talked about the 19, Mike, of having good long run speed, and it's really starting to show up as he's running fourth right here and moving forward.
Yeah, guys, this is actually going to work out for everybody, because whether you pitted on lap 66 back when Brad Keselowski had his issue, or the end of stage 1, fuel-wise, you can make it to the end. But if we got a caution right now, everybody's going to pit, so that really pays dividends for those top 8 drivers that they have a little older tires. Everybody would pit should the caution come out.
So the first driver on track who did pit at lap 79 at stage end is Joey Logano, followed by Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott.
Mike, you can really make some nice time by cutting that corner, but it upsets you a good bit getting into turn 1 down there, because you're down on the apron, and when you come up on the track, it really upsets the car a little bit. So you've got to be sure you got enough room to slide up a little bit when you make that move down on that apron.
Nice run for Ryan Newman, one of those cars that stayed out. He is currently in 6th place. Six. That's his number.
Hey.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing is sponsored by Monster Energy, official sponsor of NASCAR. In 6 days, perfect records are on the line at AT&T Stadium. Errol Spence Jr. takes on Mikey Garcia for the World Welterweight Championship. Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view. You can order now. Here in Phoenix, 119 laps complete. Kyle Busch leading Clint Bowyer by 2.5. Kevin Harvick a little over 3 back. Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin. As we still have 24 cars on the lead lap. 44 complete of the 75 lap stage 2. Track temps come up 6 degrees. The ambient temp up 3 since we started today's race. No shade.
Pretty hot
on this 1 mile surface.
104 degrees, pretty hot track temp. But you know, this tire combination that Goodyear brought here's a little harder combination they brought, because they more downforce, more speed. Seems to be hanging in there pretty good. Seemed to work well.
And here from our visor camera on board with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the number 17, you see how flat turns 1 and 2 are. So when that track is hot and slick, man, there's just no grip.
That's why you go on the apron.
Yes.
Here we go, man. Watch this. You go downhill right here. It's a downhill run. And right here, look, you get up on the hump of the dog leg. And then right here, you sail off into that 3rd turn. You're running downhill, and you really have to be careful not to overdrive that first turn down there. Then you go down the front here, and you're hard braking right here. It's an abrupt, really hard left-hand turn into turn 4 right here. Not as wide. You don't widen out this turn in the middle like you do turns 1 and 2, but you do get that nice sweeping run off of the corner.
And a huge difference from a year ago when they had a tiny little rear spoiler on these cars. They were using a ton of brake, laying on that brake pedal to get it to slow down into turn 1. Now with that big spoiler, they don't need a lot of brake.
Well, here's our Chevy onboard camera riding with William Byron. He and Ty Dillon just ahead of him now. Just ran the last 3 laps side by side before Dillon was able to pull ahead for 19th place. And Eric Almirola has just passed Paul Menard in the 21. That happened just a lap ago, and it brings Almirola back up into the top dozen, Vince.
Well, and he is up 10 spots from when he pitted. Remember, he came for that pit stop, got 4 tires. They knew they were going to be a little bit further back in the pack, but he's been able to pass cars, and that's been one of the things that has been critical. When you get back in the pack, the air on your car, on the nose of that car, greatly impacts the handling, but he has been able to methodically move his way past those in front of him. Up 10 spots, a good sign for Almirola, who's been much of the day inside the top 5.
26 to go in stage 2. Now the battle for the free pass position has changed completely with leader Kyle Busch lapping cars. Chris Buescher right now is the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, I think these Stewart-Haas cars are pretty good today, Mike. You got the 4 that's running 3rd, and the other guys are in the top 10. They're a pretty good run for these guys.
So Bubba Wallace now the free pass car. Here's Kyle Busch's radio.
The last few laps has picked up a little bit of front slide, but I'm all set also just kind of like out of the track. I can just lost some overall grip here. A little more front. 1 and 2. 3 and 4. Okay.
You see, you hear him say out of the racetrack, and what that means, when the pace slows down and the air pressure builds up, that front splitter isn't compressing into the racetrack and sealing the car up to create all that downforce. So he just feels like maybe as this pace is finally starting to fall off, it hasn't fallen off a lot, but as little as it has, it's just enough to get that car out of the racetrack a bit.
Well, Matt Clint Boyer continues to run within 1/10 of a second per lap of the leader.
Mike P2 and Lurton, they really jumpstart their season. Yes, they had a 5th in Atlanta, but Mike Bugaravich, the crew chief for Boyer, just hasn't been happy so far. Very few stage points earned, and really they feel like they need, judging back to last year, they really need to collect those. Bugger feels like they should be a solid top 8 car here today, and they're showing it so far, but he also feels like that they haven't been the best car out of the HHR stable. They're still trying to find their bearings with the new Mustang, but this is really good signs for the team.
Running second, 3.8 off the lead. Back in 9th place, last week's winner, our series champ, Joey Logano. Larry?
Yeah, Mike, 2019 is Joey Logano's 7th year to drive the 22 car for Roger Penske. Todd Gordon has been his crew chief the entire time. Together, including last week at Las Vegas, they have won 20 Cup races together, also including the 2015 Daytona 500. After missing the playoffs in 2017, not only did they make the playoffs last year, they went on to win the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Championship. I would say Todd and Joey working together is like Midas Driving Trust.
That is our Midas Driving Trust, brought to you by Midas. Joey in 9th place. He's got 0.8 of a second on Chase Elliott in 10th. 20 laps to go in stage 2. 3 different leaders today: Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin. $15 laps to go in stage 2. Let's see how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring. Denny Hamlin in the top 5. Ryan Newman, Joey Logano the top 10. Larson and Dillon in the top 20. Bubba Wallace in the free pass position, 1 lap down, and Daniel Suarez 31st right now, a lap down. Jamie?
Well, Ryan Newman's weekend didn't get off to a great start. He qualified 18th, and then in practice they felt like they had a 15th to 20th place car. And this morning his crew chief Scott Graves said their biggest concern today was making mistakes on pit road. So what happened for the first round of pit stops? Newman got a speeding penalty on entry. Well, a little bit of strategy played into their hands. He got that track position. He's been holding on to 6th spot, but not just holding on. The car is actually performing well as he's trying to hold up the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
I just think when I look at that 6 car and I think about Matt Kenseth driving that car last year and the great input that he had to have to get those cars better than he had been in the past. I think Ryan's, he's a great driver, good driver. He gets in the car. His knowledge, I think that's really what's propelled the 6 car forward.
Also, Darrell, how many times have we seen where an incident on pit road puts you out of sequence that actually ends up being your best friend?
Yeah.
3 wide.
Whoa, Kyle! That got close. That's William Byron you're riding with, about to go a lap down, and just ahead Daniel Suarez trying to keep from going 2 laps down in the 41. And then there's Landon Castle in the 00, who just went 2 down. Let's show you how close that was from a different angle.
Suarez he's having a ruckus over there. Wow, a little contact.
Whoa.
Little contact.
41 got really loose. I don't know. Kyle Busch was saying his front end wasn't turning too good. Looked like it was turning really good to me right there.
10 to go in stage 2. Kyle Busch has now led 86 laps today. Clint Boyer 3 seconds back in 2nd place.
I hope this thing runs out. Same. And 18 has a flat, 1 to go. And you're mean. Selfish is a better word for it, yes. I just know if a caution comes out now, it's going to split. Same thing is going to happen what happened in the last stage. Yeah, copy that.
Plan and strategy for a lot of what ifs. What if a caution comes out And you got to make a split decision with 10 or less laps to go in the stage, Larry.
Well, Mike, remember what I said at the top of the broadcast. If we get that late race caution, just like we did before stage 1, you get drivers that are focused on let's try to get stage points. Then you get drivers that are saying the heck with stage points. We're going to do what it takes for the big picture. That's win the race. That's what Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens did when that caution came out with about 13 laps to go in stage 1. They pitted.
Yeah, I think Clint Bowyer is just really happy with the way this race is playing out, wants to keep it going that same direction.
I don't know what Kyle Busch does, but that's what I'm going to do because he seems to have it figured out pretty good.
Looks like our front row starters may be fighting for the last stage points in this stage. Chase Elliott currently 9th in the number 9. Ryan Blaney in 11th place in the number 12, and Kurt Busch in between them.
Yeah, I think what's hurting that 12 car is he just doesn't have a good long run speed. He's got a fast car for a few laps, but it falls off dramatically.
And Kurt Busch, those tires that he took on lap 66 starting to play a toll now with the handling going away a little bit on the 1 car.
But a nice recovery by that 9 car. I mean, you know, he gets penalized right off the start, and they've worked their way back here in the top 10. That's pretty good recovery.
Kurt Busch coming off a top 5 in his home in Las Vegas, his home track. Currently 10th, Vince.
Well, in the struggle for them right now, just not cutting the corner certainly the way it was yesterday in practice, and it has just gotten too tight for Kurt as they've gone. But it's been a good start to the season, back-to-back top 5s, and he spoke to me this morning about the urgency this team has. It's a 1-year deal with Chip Ganassi Racing. He knows that as a driver, he's got to perform, and he wants this team to perform. And so far, he and Matt McCall have gotten off to a good start. Back-to-back top 5s coming into this one today, and he's inside the top 10.
Also in the top 10, Jimmy Johnson running in 7th. He is the highest placed Chevrolet right now. Again, he only stopped at lap 66.
Well, it's similar to Ryan Newman. Obviously, Jimmy Johnson's feeling pretty good about his car, has good balance because he's able to take advantage of that pit strategy, have older tires, and be able to maintain up there in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 7-time champ, going kind of quietly going about his business, hanging around the top 10. Got a good day ahead of him.
And he's been sick all week.
True.
Had a bad cold, got himself a lot of rest, changed up his workout regimen there, and said he'd be good to go for today. Alex Bowman in the wall, turn 2.
Uh-oh. There's a caution. Nobody wanted to see.
No caution yet.
Put it out.
There it is.
On the high side of 2.
Caution lap 148. Well, Larry, does this change anything or everything?
Well, it does, Mike. You know, my biggest question, are we going to get this race restarted before the end of stage 2? I think that's the biggest question. We're 2 to go right now. I don't see how we can get it restarted.
The answer to that would be no, because it takes a lap to gather everybody up behind the pace car. At least another lap, even if they don't open the pits, to get them double wide. So I'd say no. Let's see what happened as we watch from the Nationwide camera on Alex Bowman.
Going down toward turn 1 here. Car never turns.
And usually when the tire goes,
Hold on up there. We're in the wall, guys. We're in the wall, guys.
which I believe that was a tire issue for Alex Bowman. It's right as you get into the corner and load up that right front tire and get on the brakes.
This will be a break for his Hendrick teammate William Byron. He's the first car 1 lap down, so free pass to Byron. NASCAR chairman and CEO Jim France taking in the action, spends a lot of time down in that garage area.
Very active.
Interacting with the stakeholders in this sport.
He reminded me so much of his brother Bill. I mean, Bill was in the garage. Bill France Jr. was always in the garage. And ever since Jimmy got in charge, kind of in the role he's in, he's always in that garage, and everybody knows they can go talk to him. I love that about him.
So next time by, we'll complete stage number 2. And there is your running order on the final lap of this second stage. It would be Kyle Busch's second stage win of 2019. So your stage winners today, Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch. Remember last fall when Kyle won, he also was the first car to the line in stage 2. Now let me clean up about the free pass. When the pace car gathered up the field, William Byron was the first car 1 lap down, but at the moment of caution, Alex Bowman was the first car 1 lap down. Therefore, since Bowman brought out the caution, there will be no free pass car.
Got it. I got it.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike, and tell you something else.
That.
Unless somebody down there's got a magic wand, I don't see him catching that 18 car because he checks out in a hurry.
Now they got to come down pit road and have a pit stop first.
Yeah.
Well, now, Jeff, we just had a run of 64 green flag laps, longest one of the day, and it got interrupted by a cut tire.
Yeah, and we don't know exactly, was that a melted bead from overheating it? Was it running over something? We don't know what caused that, but it is kind of suspicious that that was our longest run, and I expect us to have another long run here in this final stage.
Pit road is open. Matt.
Mike, Busch, Bowyer, and Truex, they're pitting on the backstretch, the big, long, straight section of this curvy pit road. Bowyer says he's getting beat on entry. Busch goes a little bit deeper into his box. No changes, though, he wants on that 14. Busch was saying the 19 was losing the nose and overall grip, the car on the tight side. And the same for the 19 of Martin Truex. He said he was burning off his rears and had a lot of brake shake. Jamie.
Kevin Harvick in the 4, just too tight off 2, looking for that handling just to be a little bit better. Hasn't been quite the way he's wanted it so far in this race. A 4-tire stop and air pressure adjustment.
Here comes Kyle Busch around pit road with a full head of steam, and he's going to win the race off pit road. The AstraZeneca race off pit road has Bowyer in second, Truex, Newman, and Harvick as the first 5 to come out. What do you say we talk to our stage 2 winner?
Sounds good. Kyle Busch, this is Jeff up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. What's up?
And you are. Things are looking an awful lot like last November when you won this race. You won stage 2 then. You just won stage 2. How about the rest of this final stage? What do you got for them?
Well, I hope we continue on just like that. You know, certainly we've shown we've got a pretty good piece here, and car's good to drive. So hope we got to keep it that way. Keep it out front here. Pit stops are rocking and rolling. So you know, see what we can do.
All right. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Kyle Busch looking for his 52nd career victory in the NASCAR Cup Series. Series racing from Phoenix on Fox, presented by AstraZeneca. We're going to restart with 19 cars on the lead lap. Here's a look at the fastest pit stop, sponsored by Xfinity. As expected, Kyle Busch at the top, Jimmy Johnson. How about Ryan Newman? And Clint Bowyer tied for 3rd, Joey Logano 5th.
Look at that pit stop time, 12.7. That is fast.
Well, when your car's out front and Kyle Busch is your driver, do you want to risk losing that lead?
You better do your job.
Stage 3, which will take us the rest of the way. 19 lead lap cars. Kyle Busch, Clint Bowyer, Toyota and Ford lead them into the Geico restart zone.
Green. 2 by behind you. 2 by 2. Small run on your bumper. 2 by 2. Staying in line with you. Looking low.
But typically we've seen where that outside groove has been the way to go, but Jimmy Johnson went 3 wide with Ryan Newman.
Boy, he took Newman for a ride. Cost Newman a bunch of spots.
4 wide into turn number 3.
That can't
How's
work.
that going to work?
Not so
Stenhouse was way on the outside there.
2 inside again. 1 inside. Middle of 3. Middle of 3. Middle of 3. 9 got loose there. Middle of 3. Middle of 3. Still middle. Clear low. Just 1.
It never looked quite this weird from over on the other side of the track.
Well, just a lot
crazy.
2 outside.
I don't think it's ever been quite this intense.
I don't think it has either.
2 again. Your bottom is clear. 3 wide, 2 wide.
Oh, trouble for the 34. He got piled into and he goes into the wall in turn 3. Tough break for Michael McDowell. Somebody just piled into the back of him as they were 3 and 4 wide coming down into the corner.
I see it.
Did he say something stuck?
Let's see. McDowell right of your screen, and that's his teammate David Reagan right behind him.
Got loose off turn 4 over there.
You can see he's trying to check up.
Turn 2, I'm sorry.
You can see he's trying to check up halfway down that back straightaway.
Yeah.
And just.
Yeah, Reagan hit him because McDowell's car just stopped accelerating.
Something weird happened off turn 2 here. You see him get loose, smacks the fence a little bit.
Slowing down right there, and David Reagan nowhere to go.
Gets just into his left rear and turns him enough to get him in the wall.
Wonder if he felt maybe a tire or something going down.
Hard to tell here once it's all locked up. Let's take a look, see if we can see anything flying off the back of that 34, as if something broke to stop his forward motion.
Well, aerodynamically, he's not in a very good position here, so there's no downforce on the car. He gets wide, gets loose.
See right here, I don't think he actually hit the wall right there, but he got really bad loose right there. Oh yeah, you see a little part
popped out.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's that left rear tire that went down.
David Reagan just could not get away from his teammate there. That's post impact.
Already was a little bit of damage to the 34 down that left rear.
6th caution of the day for Michael McDowell of nearby Glendale. 163 laps into the Ticket Guardian 500 in Phoenix. We've had 3 different leaders, 10 lead changes, and now 6 caution flags. Let's join Shannon, Jamie, and Michael.
Hey, Mike, thanks so much. We've already seen more restarts today than we saw all of last week. Jamie, you were in this race in November. You happy you're here and not there today with these crazy restarts?
Both of us are talking about that. We're glad that we're watching today. The restarts, though, have not disappointed. We've seen cars on the bottom, on the top. Oddly enough, the car that was the lowest was Kyle Larson, and the car that was the highest was Kyle Larson. So it's been pretty exciting.
Mikey, what about the top 5 right now? You got Jimmy Johnson in 4th. Is shot on the arm for him?
I just think this is a great day for Jimmy Johnson. Kevin Mindering, his new crew chief, got him that track position, and Jimmy Johnson has held on to it, racing hard on that restart, moved up from 6th to 4th. He's in the middle of a 62 race losing streak, and you know me, Jamie, that's not a very long losing streak to me. But for Jimmy Johnson, it's huge. I'd like to see him get that erased today.
I've never said Clint Boyer has been quiet, but quietly at 2nd today, right?
Yeah, he has not had a top 5 here since 2008, but they used a little pit strategy, got him up into the top 2, and he's held on to that. Got a good car.
Yeah, Kyle Busch has led most of the laps, Mike, and here we go again. Time for another restart.
Thanks, Shannon. You see Busch electing the inside lane for the restart. Boyer outside. Truex and Johnson row 2. Newman and Harvick. Logano, Hamlin. Larson, DiBenedetto. They are the top 10. Chris Buescher, the free pass car, makes it 20 lead lap cars. Green flag.
And this is one of those hey watch this moments, because man, they get crazy right. Look out.
Look at Logano.
Every which way.
I think we've seen Logano 3 wide on every restart down there on the bottom on the apron.
Why not?
He'll look about there, out there to 48 by himself. Just the 48. Still just the 48 here. Line, still there. Still there. Still there. Left rear, still there. Still there. Clear. All clear. Be 2 rolling that top, 2 back, 1 back now. I'm with you.
All clear for the first 6. Then comes Larson around the outside of Ryan Newman. Ryan Blaney on the inside with Denny Hamlin on his bumper as they continue to fight right here for position.
You know, Jeff and Mike, it might not be such a bad thing to feel bad when you get in one of these race cars. Think about Keselowski. He won Atlanta. He'd been sick all weekend. Jimmy Johnson, who's having one of the best runs I've seen him have in quite some time, doesn't feel that well, but he's hanging in there in 4th place. Pretty good run for him.
Saw Ryan Newman the last time they came down turns 3 and 4. Went really wide, opened up the door for Ryan Blaney to get to the inside and make that pass.
And these are all for position. Almirola there trying to hold on to 10th. Chase Elliott for 12th.
Boy, now these guys have a little bit of history. Don't forget that. But that just got really tight going down into turn 1 that last time. Chase Elliott was on the bottom, got loose underneath the 11.
Boy, he's just about got Denny Hamlin's bumper right there. Going back to that last caution, Chris Buescher and Michael McDowell both knew they were fighting to be the first car 1 lap down, but something happened to Michael McDowell. Let's find out what from Vince.
And Michael has been cleared and released from the medical center. What happened?
Yeah, we were on that restart, got a great restart, and almost got in that lucky dog spot. But as I got onto the back straightaway, the throttle pedal was gone, and it was stuck wide open. So I tried jamming on the brakes as hard as I could. Our cars have a system in there that'll kill the engine if you get a high enough brake spike. But the throttle is stuck going into turn 3 there. I was just trying to do everything I could to get it shut off, and yeah, really unfortunate for us today.
Glad you're okay, Mike.
Michael McDowell from Phoenix, the first car out of today's race.
Boy, Mike, that's something we don't see happen much anymore. You know that problem because they have a sensor on them now. Like he said, you spike the brakes, it'll kill the engine. But now that would work.
Now knowing what I know, I think that ended up about as good as he could possibly ask for. You know, to recognize that throttle was stuck as early as he did, he got it slowed down.
All right, get your hand on that volume knob, because when they come to the stripe, you know what we're going to do.
Yeah. Crank it up.
With you working in inside and shift inside. Cleared inside corner, then you pull him off, both ends. Clear by 1. Still 2 back now. 2 back, all good. Clear. Good lap right here, it looks like.
.178 complete. The Arizona desert has been Kyle Busch's sandbox these last 2 days. As you watch from our, here's Kyle Busch, our leader. He's led 239 of the 378 laps he's run this weekend in the Xfinity Series yesterday, which he won, and in today's race where he's been out front for 123.
I've been watching he and Boyer pretty close.
His victory total is impressive, but let's keep these separate, if you will. 51 wins in the NASCAR Cup Series, 94 in the Xfinity Series, 53 in the Truck Series. And these are totals that will probably never be seen again, as NASCAR now restricts their elite level drivers with the number of races they can run in the other 2 national series.
All I can say is just lay anybody else's record beside of his and see how it compares. Pretty phenomenal.
The thing is, it creates so much debate. So many people want to talk about him going for 200 wins versus Rich or Petty.
Here's our Jimmy John's onboard camera with Kevin Harvick. And Harvick has not dominated like perhaps we expected him to today.
Just a little bit worried about Kevin today. I just haven't seen the speed out of that car yet.
And the Coca-Cola onboard looking back at Joey Logano. And that is 5th and 6th place. What does Clint Bowyer do when he's out running around the racetrack by himself? Well, usually he and Brett Griffin have a entertaining conversation on the radio.
18 looks a pinch tight. Martin looks like he's pedaling it a little bit on exit. I wonder if he's pushing it or if he's chilling. What do you think? I think he's chilling. He wasn't a bad car at the end of that run, just was in lap traffic and stuff. Yeah, I don't think we need to run her too hard. Only matters to lead one. Roger that. Long run.
It sounded to me like they got this figured out. Only got to lead one. We know which one that is.
I don't know. It sounds to me like he thinks that Kyle Busch hasn't figured out and is just playing with them.
Only got 1 car to pass, but that's the car.
Well, there is that.
and that.
How about 3rd place, Martin Truex? We've talked all weekend about this is a long run car.
I've watched Truex's times. Again, he's a little quicker as we go into this run than the 2 leaders are. So Truex hanging in there tough. We get this long run like we're going to have here, he could be a factor.
Yeah, quiet start to the season, quiet start to this race, but I don't think he's going to be quiet for long.
And the first Chevrolet is Jimmy Johnson. He's the 4th place car for Hendrick Motorsports, maintaining about a half a second on Joey Logano.
Yeah, and Mike, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Jimmy, excuse me, overall run this good, and he's run good all day long, been right up in the top 5.
127 laps to go in the desert. $121 laps to go at ISM Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona. And it's time for our Credit One Bank ones to watch. I'll warn you right now, Darrell got to pick first. Jeff, you go.
Well, our 2nd place runner right now, Clint Bowyer, hasn't had a top 5 here at ISM Raceway since 2008. Today, he's stalking our leader, Kyle Busch. He might turn a top 5, maybe into a win.
Well, Jeff, Martin Truex Jr. has never won a Cup race at ISM Raceway. Did I mention he's not won a race since Kentucky last July? Long run car, all that comes to an end today.
Look, guys, I did get to pick first. Thank you, Mike. But look, I got to pick the 18. I mean, he ran 2nd both races here last year. He won yesterday. He's leading now. I'll take the 18.
Well, Kevin Harvick, a 9-time winner here. You can never count him out. The weekend started off good car, but today's race, the handling hasn't quite been there. And just moments ago, the Ford Kevin Harvick said he had a vibration, and right now we have caution on the track.
Thanks, Jamie. Caution has come out here. Now, Kyle Busch will win. We know that. But this race is good medicine for Jimmy Johnson. He's won here 4 times. He's on a long winless streak. This will be their best performance of the season, the way things are going. So just keep an eye on that 48. Caution waving as Alex Bowman went way high up on the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, a continuation of his problems earlier.
Now the right front, I don't know what's going on there, but like a right front.
Hang on.
Again, right on entry.
Hold the brake.
Into that braking zone. Sounds like as it loaded the right front tire, you heard it pop.
Surprisingly, we've seen a number of tire failures today. I don't know why. I mean, it's a safe tire. It shouldn't be given a problem, but they've had some problems today.
I don't know if they're going to get this one back out there. That looks like the right front suspension's broke.
She's wounded.
Well, guys, we've got about 30 laps on these tires. We're still about 30 laps away from the window to get to the end, but I think you have to come, but don't rule out we may not see some right side only. I think you will see the majority of everybody coming to pit road, though.
All right, I said it before, I'll say it again. This time it's true. William Byron is the free pass with Alex Bowman's misfortune there. Byron's been running for a while. The first car 1 lap down in 21st, so he'll be back on the lead lap. 117 laps to go. This is the 7th caution of the day. Let's get some pit strategy from our pole sitter, Ryan Blaney.
Here's the situation. We've got about 30 laps on them. We cannot make it from here. We're about 30 or 40 laps from the window. So everybody's got to stop one more time. Do you take 4 now, or do you take 2 now and try to get track position back now?
Well, let's find out. Matt.
And the 18 car, Kyle Busch, he was talking about how the balance of his car wasn't too bad. He was losing the nose. They discussed it, an adjustment. They waved that off as well. Slight air pressure on the 18. Clint Boyer, no changes he wants on the 14. He says the car is really good, Vince.
Right sides only for Jimmie Johnson in the 48. Needs a little help in the center and a little strategy here. Jamie?
Timing is everything for Kevin Harvick, who just reported a vibration. The caution comes out, a 4-tire stop here, tight middle, loose everywhere else. He needs a little bit better turn.
Jimmie Johnson easily wins the race off pit road from Kyle Busch. Austin Dillon with 2 tires. Martin Truex, Clint Boyer, the first 5 to make it off pit road with a tank of Sunoco race fuel and some new Goodyear tires. Next week, the Auto Club 400. Coverage begins Sunday with race day on FS1 at 2 p.m. Eastern and continues on Fox at 3. The green flag waves, 3:30 Eastern time. Ryan Newman has a safety violation. He'll do a drive-through, and Austin Dillon too fast exiting his pit. Here's Kevin Harvick's day via the in-car radio.
Now, you both said if there's someone to beat today, it's driver number 4. Sell me on Kevin Harvick.
You don't have to sell Kevin Harvick when we come to Phoenix.
Have a good day in there, fellas. You too, man. Nice and smooth all day. Have some fun. Ready, green, green, green.
Let's go boogity, 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 and go racing, boys!
Having a tough time with the back and pushing the front. 10-4.
Whoa!
Yellow's out. Spin behind you off of 2. We'll pit when it's open here. Well, straight foot on the brake. Are you ready? Are you ready? Go hard, going outside. 5 away, ready, green, 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 green. Definitely better there. Definitely can get into turn 1 better. Fixing my rear grip issue.
Kevin Harvick will restart 6th. Jimmie Johnson with a 2-tire stop is the race leader from Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, and Clint Boyer. On Ryan Newman's team, a crewman had his hand down over the wall, and that is a violation. He was trying to retrieve the front tire, and NASCAR's Hawkeye system, if you have a foot or a hand over that wall, you're counted as a crewman over that wall if it touches the ground. Austin Dillon, 2-tire stop, same situation as Johnson, but Dillon was too fast exiting the pits, so he goes to the tail end of the line. Ryan Preece took the wave around. 22 lead lap cars as we go back to green.
All the way on the bottom. Inside all the way on the bottom.
Kevin Meendering,
just the 18.
crew chief for the 48. Not afraid to gamble here. Take 2 tires against all those 4 tires behind him.
Well, he's got a good car, so that helps make that decision a little bit, but I'm just not sure about 2 tires at this
3
point.
wide going into 3.
Yikes.
You're all right, keep going. 3 wide.
Great driving.
3 wide, 3 wide,
Oh, the closer on the outside, Harvick.
Real tight, 2 wide with a 19.
Logano taking the shortcut.
Still 3 wide, still inside, still 3 wide, still 3 wide. You're okay up there.
Well, that's 3 talented race car drivers right there.
Top of 2, still there, top of 2.
It's also 3 good spotters. You heard Tim Fedewa there saying you're okay on the outside.
You know, one thing I'm noticing, that 4 car, you know, Kevin Harvick said that fixed his problems. It's time for Harvick to show what he's got. If he's got anything, it's time to show it.
And I was going to say, Darrell, we've not seen today so far be a Kevin Harvick type of race. here at Phoenix. I expected him, based on practice, to really be up there leading laps and battling with Kyle Busch for this lead.
Back at 8th place, Kyle Larson battling. Vince?
Well, it's been an impressive run for Larson. Remember, he started 31st. They used a little bit of strategy to get up there. They have taken 4 tires at each stop, though, and they got off sequence a little bit. But the car has been good. Like most, he wants a little help in the center, but he's shown some pretty good speed today out of that 42.
Wow. Chase Elliott went way downstairs in the dogleg, and he beat Larson to turn 1 by a car length. Here's Larson returning the favor.
Larson with the crossover.
You know what? Larson said, that looked pretty good. Let me try that.
Yeah.
It's so violent when you come off the track onto that flat and back up on the track. It's so violent. Car wiggles, sparks fly.
Chase Elliott's going to have that outside advantage here with the momentum down this back straightaway, though.
And no out of bounds. Those lines are for reference only on the inside of the track.
Kurt Busch going to give it a try now on his teammate, Kyle Larson.
Chip Ganassi teammates going at it here. Boy, Kurt Busch has had a great start to this season.
I'll say he's really done a nice job in that one car. Crew chief and him, and they got a new car chief over there that I think's made a big difference.
Denny Hamlin, our Daytona winner, looking in from 11th place.
See Denny searching all over this racetrack. We saw him do it in practice. He's done a nice job here today, working those different lines, trying to get some clean air to make those passes happen.
And I would tell you what Jazzy's name is, but I'm not sure.
We know his first name's Jeff. I got that.
I know he's Jazzy. That's all I've ever heard.
Jeff Curtis.
I'm going to start calling him DJ Jazzy Jeff.
See, that's why I have y'all up here to help me out.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Can you hold it for 6 seconds? Because here's a quick word from Duracell.
This is the #1 trusted brand.
All right. Woo. 104 laps to go.
So you didn't know his name either until this past week?
I did not.
Okay. That
Just
makes me feel a little bit
we
better.
all did, right?
Oh, that's all I ever heard. Martin Truex always referred to Jazzy.
13th place, Matt DiBenedetto, who was top 10 in opening round of practice, pre-qualifying, did not get a clean lap, so he had to come from the back, battling Paul Menard.
This team gets a little bit better every week, seems like. He had a great run at Daytona, then he's having a great run today. This team just gets a little bit better every week. And Matt is a great driver. I tell you, he is a good wheelman.
Menard trying to hold him off here from 13th place for the Wood brothers.
And real quick, remember who his crew chief is, Mike Wheeler. You know, Wheels, he was with Denny Hamlin, so got a good crew chief. Matt's a great driver. They're doing things.
Got Chris Buescher coming up on them.
Yeah,
and then Ricky Stenhouse and William Byron.
Give Chris Buescher a lot of credit. I think he went a lap down here early in this race, or close to going a lap down, has really fought his way back up into the top 15 right now.
Well, he had to pass his car here in practice yesterday. Remember, he led that one practice session we had, so he's got speed in the car, and looks like they got a handling pretty good.
He used a free pass at lap 160 to get back on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney, who made an extra pit stop on that caution for a loose wheel. He restarted 18th, and now Blaney is up to 11th. Larry, that two-tire strategy for Jimmie Johnson has played out very, very well, although he lost the lead to Kyle Busch on the restart. Since then, he's held his own.
Well, I get a feeling that if they'd have changed 8 tires, he would have lost the lead to Kyle Busch. I just think Kyle Busch at 18 is that good right now. But the thing is, and you heard this conversation with Jeremy Bowens and Ryan Blaney, is everybody's going to have to stop one time. Once we get right here, you see we're at lap 213. Once we get to about lap 230 to 235, that's when that window is open. But I still think you go as far as you can, because if you pit for 4 tires under green here, you're going to go a lap plus down. So I think they'll run it as far out as they can.
And you know, Larry, you know what I like about this move is Kevin Meendering made the call earlier in the race to take 2 tires, gave them an idea of what the balance is like with those 2 tires to give them this opportunity to do it again here late in this race.
Let's go back to his teammate Chase Elliott, who started up front on the outside pole, jumped the start, had to come from the back, and currently he is 8th. Jamie?
And he's done a nice job fighting his way up there. Now he battles with Kurt Busch, but he just radioed to his team, I think I have a loose wheel, got a vibration. Hearing a lot of that the later this race goes.
Unbelievable.
Alex Bowman crashed twice and went to the garage with right front trouble. One of the other Hendrick cars.
See, one of the things I worry about 2 tires on the 48, you're going to take off pretty good. But sooner or later, that balance is going to go away. And you see now, here's Clint Bowyer closing in on the back of Jimmie Johnson. I think those 4 tires will prevail over the 2 as we go into this run.
Vince?
Well, Jeff Gordon made a great point about Jimmie Johnson and crew chief Kevin Meendering making that 2-tire call on their first stop to get an idea of how that was going to affect the car moving forward, allowed them to be able to go back to the 2 tires on this most recent stop. And I can tell you, Jimmy has only complained about one thing all day, and that's tight in the center. That's the same thing everybody's complaining about. They made significant changes to improve this car today, and I think Kevin Meendering made the right decisions.
Well, here's Bowyer trying to take 2nd place away.
And you can see Jimmie Johnson still battling a little bit with that tight condition, especially with these 2 tires. Opened up the door for Clint Bowyer to get to the inside.
That's a hard pass to make right there, Mike.
Lap car. Lap car?
Well,
can
lap
Bowyer
car
use it as a pick?
Yeah, I think so.
But that's a hard pass to make right here on the bottom. Your car keeps you pinned down. It's hard to get a good run.
All clear.
Da-dum.
Got that right.
All right, Kurt Busch has passed Chase Elliott now for position, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, with Hamlin and Blaney.
We saw Chase Elliott moving forward, but now starting. Oh, he's going to spin.
Keep spinning out. We are going to get a caution.
Chase Elliott spins and caution waves at lap 219.
Wow. He was running 8th.
It must have been vibrating me loose. It was getting worse and worse. Feels like it's about to come off. Copy. Copy, copy.
Denny Hamlin had the bird's eye view of this one.
Into turn 3. It looked like he knew he had a problem. He went wide.
Clear, clear. Keep spinning out. We are going to get a call. It's still green. Keep working.
I thought we saw some fluid on the lens of the onboard camera. Was there something coming out from Chase Elliott's car or someone else that contributed to that spin? Let's have another look.
Yeah, some of that moisture
drops.
Could just be, you know, somebody's running hot a little bit, taped up, running in traffic, spitting a little water. I don't think that was anything that caused that spin.
I don't either.
Could even have been the car in front of Chase.
True. Wow, look at that right front deflection of that sidewall of the tire. My goodness. Great shots.
I don't think I ever saw anything like that.
And that looks all deflection. The wheel looks like it's tight to the
yeah, that's
to the
just
hub.
the sidewall of the tire.
Wow.
Well, he's complaining about a wheel loose, so it could have been the right front.
Now here's a lot more moisture. It looks like on the front lens from the bumper camera of the 11 Denny Hamlin.
I don't know where that's coming from.
Don't see anything yet.
Well, guys, this makes it really interesting because we've got over 90 laps to go. At best, the fuel window's about 85, 86 laps. You know what? I'm coming. 4 tires and fuel, and I'm going to hope I get enough cautions to make it to the end. Looks like to me it's feeding time, Matt.
and a lot of conversation between Adam Stevens and Kyle Busch. They were talking about staying out because they're not in their window. They were concerned about too many other cars, though, pitting, and then that would push their window much farther in the race, so they decided to go ahead and get tires now. Vince.
Jimmie Johnson pitted 25 laps ago, took right sides only. Says it's tight center, and it was just starting to get a little bit loose into turn 3 as well. 4-tire change for Jimmie with air pressure. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick said he just needs a little bit of help here, more grip. It's a track bar adjustment. He didn't want to lose track position. They called for 2 tires, right sides only.
Austin Dillon first off pit road, then Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch.
Oh boy.
Now it gets interesting. We're under caution with 91 laps to go. We'll recap after we take you side by side. Welcome back to Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Phoenix on Fox, presented by AstraZeneca. 89 laps to go. Rookie Daniel Hemrick did not pit, so the RCR cars, Richard Childress Racing, are 1-2. Austin Dillon with a 2-tire stop is second. Then Kevin Harvick in third. Our Duracell power to the finish speaks to Kevin Harvick and what he's been able to do. Well, don't beat yourself. Well, of course, Harvick being the closer, that's pretty obvious, but getting good track position, what a great move, getting in and out of the pits to sit here in third, the first car with 4 tires.
And I don't think we've seen just what this 4 car is capable of so far today, because he's not really been able to get the track position. So hats off to Rodney Childers for getting him that track position. Now he's going to have to capitalize on it.
Did the Ford take 4 tires or 2 tires?
2 tires.
He just
2
took
tires.
2 tires. I was thinking he
Thank
did.
you.
But I don't think that's a problem at this point. They only had 18 laps on the tires that they took off. So 18 laps on the left side, put some new rights on. I feel pretty good about that.
And it put about 4 cars between him and Kyle Busch, who's the first car that took 4th back in 8.
Yeah, and I think if Harvick's going to go, he's got to go now.
Now, the last time Kevin Harvick swept both races here in a season, he made 4 pit stops, took rights, then 4 tires, then rights, then 4 tires.
I think right now it's setting up good for him. You got Kyle Busch back in the field here. He's back to 8th, and you got the 4 car up there restarting in 3rd. This could be good for Harvick.
Well, this is going to be one wild restart.
Maybe
with those
another
2 guys on the front row.
Maybe another power to the finish item should be watch your mirrors. Object in your mirrors are getting closer.
Or watch the outside, because that's where watch that 18 car on this restart.
88 laps to go. And here they come. Richard Childress Racing 50th anniversary. They have the front row, and Hemrick takes off.
Right, but the inside row of Austin Dillon did not take off.
12 to the bottom here, half back. Still you in the 10.
Blaney 3 wide already goes by Harvick.
Still 3 wide, 2 wide outside, 3 wide middle.
Watch your outside.
5 wide right there.
Clear.
That 18 car, he went by. Oh, trouble down the back straightaway.
47, Ryan Preece into the inside wall.
Caution.
Sit there.
Lap 227. Preece, the rookie from Connecticut,
Mike,
spinning down the backstretch.
How this hadn't happened more on these restarts. I've never seen them bottled up the way they are. Through the dog leg here, down that back straightaway. I mean, they are all over each other.
Now, Preece was on the lead lap. He was running 21st. We're hearing he and Brad Keselowski may have had an issue.
We saw some damage on the 2 car of Brad Keselowski. You see it right there on the left side. So they obviously made contact.
Top of your screen.
Oh, they get 3 wide. Preece looks like he came down just a little bit.
On Daniel Suarez.
Daniel Suarez, yeah. Oh, and Brad Keselowski gets into the inside wall trying to avoid him.
Yeah, Brad didn't. They didn't make any contact. The 2 and the 47.
No,
I think it was the 41 and the 47.
See Ryan Preece trying to keep it out of the outside wall. A little loose right there. Just no room.
And he spins off the bumper of Suarez car. Brad slides off the inside wall, and I believe Suarez is going to be the free pass car on this caution. It was
ironic.
Bubba Wallace on the last caution.
It's kind of ironic because Suarez was right there to the left rear of Ryan Preece that caused that contact.
Yep.
We're back under caution once again. This is the 9th one of the day. Let's check with Shannon, Jamie, and Michael.
It must be weird to say 9 cautions this week after what we saw last week, Mike. All right, welcome into our Race Hub studios. Let's get you caught up on the action so far. Here is a race recap from Phoenix. It all started with Ryan Blaney out front early, but Chase Elliott, he gets to the start-finish line first, which is a no-no, right, guys?
Yeah, and I think that was just confusing here because of where the start-finish line is. I don't think Chase was doing anything intentional there, and it just a tough situation.
Eric Jones has tire issues early, Mike. What'd you see here?
Yeah, around he goes. Looked like a flat right rear. He does a nice job of keeping that thing semi out of the wall, but ruined his day early on.
That's right. Action's been going on all race long. We talked about how these restarts would play out, and we've seen a lot of them so far. We see Brad Keselowski with troubles. He had a sway bar issue. They were able to get that fixed, however.
What about that move Priest made there around Brad Keselowski, kept himself alive. Then some trouble for the 34 car into the outside wall. What great racing, though, in between all these crashes we've seen, too, Jamie.
Yeah, and that issue with Michael Maddow, we haven't heard of a stuck throttle in a long time. And then you see Alex Bowman finally blew another right front tire out and has ended his day. Chase Elliott gets loose here and spins around, saves it, doesn't hit the wall.
You're just holding on right there, of course. And, of course, the reason that we're under caution right now is what just recently happened. You see Ryan Priest right there. And, Jamie, Michael, I think we've said so many times that if we got a late race restart, things could get crazy. And that's kind of where we're going. And one thing that I want to keep my eye on is the fact that Kyle Busch has been the class of the field all day, and now he's behind some guys who have just 2 tires. What do you see there?
Well, he's got 4 tires, and he's got the fastest car, and he had a really good restart just now. So I think he's still in a really good position. I thought Harvick was going to be in the best position and then didn't have a good restart. So I don't know. I think Kyle's still good shape.
Yeah, but right behind Kyle, there's Harvick that you talked about. That car's gotten better and better all day long. I think when you're out front leading like Busch has been all day long, the guys behind you make adjustments. And when you got the brain like Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childers, that duo have tuning on that 4 car, could be an advantage for them that they've been behind all day. They've been constantly working on that 4 car.
Wait a minute. Did we just say Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick have a chance of winning at Phoenix? Mike, I don't know, Mike. Have you heard that before?
Well, never before, but probably again before the day is out. Thanks, Shannon. Pit stops, and let's go back and revisit the first car 1 lap down. NASCAR calling the caution for Ryan Priest. Brad Keselowski not involved, and at the last scoring loop before caution, Keselowski, not Suarez, was in the free pass position. So the 2 will get to come around, and we should restart with 23 cars on the lead lap. Now, Larry, a bunch of cars came in to top off that last caution at lap 221 when most everybody stopped. That'd be a little far for going the distance, but what about now? Good idea to come in?
Yeah, especially if you're at the back of the lead lap cars, because now there's 83 to go, Mike, and that's well within the window. But for all the drivers that pitted with 91 to go, all these cautions, they're helping their cause. I think if we run many more caution laps, if we have 1 more caution, no question, I think that puts them okay.
Well, here's Jimmy Johnson's team talking fuel strategy.
All right, Jimmy, we're right on our number if it goes green from here.
10-4, just talk to me about fuel mileage and savings if we need to do it.
Yeah, 10-4, we'll run it hard and then we'll save a little later on.
Yeah, and the best thing you can do is save fuel under caution. As soon as you know the caution comes out, you shut that engine off. We saw that with Kevin Harvick on the dash. You heard him shutting the engine off, and that nothing saves fuel more than doing that under caution. But it sounds like they're still going to be close within their window.
It is real close, but you know, Jeff, as these races come closer to the end, the aggression ramps up. So to think that we're not going to have another caution here pretty quickly, I think that's pretty optimistic.
And next week on Fox, something completely different out on the big speedway in California.
Some of the sport's best drivers are headed home to California. That's right. The Cup Series is making its final trip of the West Coast swing. Last year, the East Coaster Martin Truex spoiled the homecoming. Who'll be California dreaming this year? The Auto Club 400. Coverage begins at 2 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
That will be race 3 of our West Coast swing. Joey Logano, the winner in Las Vegas. Who does that prickly cactus resemble in Phoenix? And what picture will take its place when we head to California as our Phoenix winner? Matt?
Well, Mike, let's touch on the fuel story here at Phoenix today. So where do you guys stand? Can you make it? How many laps short are you?
I think we can make it. You know, we've had plenty of caution laps, and if it does go green, the pace will be so slow. I think that'll be just enough fuel to get us to the finish line.
Such an impressive race car today, Mike.
Thanks, Matt. Getting ready for this restart with Almirola and Hemrick on the front row. Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Harvick, Newman, Hamlin, Johnson, the top 10.
I love what Adam Stevens said, though. The pace will slow down. That'll save some fuel, and we can make it. That would be what I'd be selling to my driver right now. We can make it.
And Rodney Childers going to have to sell his driver that, don't worry, those 2 tires are still going to be good.
23 lead lap cars. Here we go. Wow, 4 wide right at the front of the pack.
Oh, boy.
And the brothers. Oh, look at Larson to the outside using the high line.
2 wide with 3, still 2 wide, still outside, still outside.
Oh, Johnson almost got turned.
He and Harvick made contact.
Caution, turn 1.
My goodness, how many positions did Kyle Larson make up on that restart?
No,
Brian
Busch
Preece
made up 3.
Brings out the 9th and the 10th caution today. This one coming out of lap 234. These restarts are wild.
They are.
Yeah, they are.
From this angle, it's crazy.
Here's another look at it. Watch Kyle Busch, the red car, third back on the inside.
It's a great jump. Right there in the tire tracks of his brother, Kurt Busch.
Kurt says, I'm going low, and Kyle says, I'm going lower.
Now keep an eye as we get down into turn 1. Sorry, I knew that was going to happen.
You see the one slide up.
And the 4 just, he had to come wide, but unfortunately he had no idea, I don't think, that he was not just 3 wide, but I think 4 wide with the 42 of Kyle Larson getting to the outside of the 6 of Newman. Again, that cost Kevin Harvick quite a few positions. I'm going to be curious to see if they come in and get 4 tires. I just don't know how long he can stay out there losing track position with those 2 tires.
Larry, this caution must be a godsend to everybody who's been figuring fuel mileage.
Yeah, the only one that's going to have to pit is Daniel Hemrick in that 8 car, who's in the 7th position. He pitted all the way back to lap 196, so he's the one driver that no matter how many cautions, he will have to come to pit road. But yeah, these cautions keep stacking up. That's definitely helping him. It looks like to me Hemrick's on pit road now in the 8, as well as Kevin Harvick in the 4.
This ought to be a good view from Denny Hamlin's roof. Heck, he was about to make it 5 wide.
Clint Boyer joins Daniel Hemrick on pit road, Matt.
Pinned down the bottom, going for 4 tires here. He doesn't want any adjustments on that 14 car. It's just a fresh rubber. Vince?
Well, in that 8, just as Larry McReynolds indicated, Daniel Hemrick coming in, 4 tires and a chassis adjustment, Jamie.
Kevin Harvick said 4 tires is offense, 2 tires defense. He was on the defense and did not like it. Right front damage from the 48. A 4-tire stop here for Kevin Harvick.
Took a long time on the right front there, Jamie.
I just wonder if that tire changer was trying to pull that fender out. Cost him a little bit extra time.
He was doing something there. I don't know if he adjusted something or pulled on the fender, but he definitely was doing something.
Well, fortunately, there were only 3 other cars with him on pit road at the time, so they could afford to spend an extra second or 2 there. 77 laps to go. Aric Almirola is your leader as we take you side by side. 75 laps to go, getting ready to restart. Here's our Progressive race summary for this Sunday afternoon. Aric Almirola, first time he's ever led at Phoenix. He's one of 6 leaders today, 16 lead changes, 24 cars on the lead lap, 57 laps of caution.
I like Almirola. He's always there at the end of the day. Kind of finds a way to get himself in the top 5-10 just about every week.
Well, it's been an entertaining race so far, and I think, as you said, Darrell, things are only going to intensify more.
I feel it.
Almirola Dillon, Ford versus Chevy. We're back under green.
clear. Start finish now. 1 back to the 12, your lane. Still all clear. Still all clear.
Watch Kyle
Moving
Larson.
bottom, headlights out, outside top, 95, outside, 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 clear low.
Boy, the Busch brothers going at it. Behind Blaney. Larson around the outside.
He gets loose. That's the first we've seen that car, have any kind of issues at all. It's been on rails all day long until that moment.
Yeah, well, he's back in that dirty air now, so I think that has a lot to do with it.
And Jimmie Johnson was just eating up Kyle Busch's bumper around 3 and 4. Now Kyle and Jimmy to the outside behind Larson, who drops low in the corner.
All this battling that's going on with Kyle Busch and his brother Kurt Busch, all that is doing is just building up those right side tire pressures, and that will only equal out some of those guys that took 2 tires.
Vince?
Well, with Kyle Larson, they've either been a little too tight or a little too free. Not horrible on either side of the fence, but they just haven't been right on the sweet spot so far today. You get the feeling if they do find it, he might be the guy you end up having to deal with at the end of this thing, but they've just been a little bit too free that last run. They made a slight adjustment to help him. We'll see.
Yeah, Vince, you better hurry up because you're running out of time.
See Jimmie Johnson making some pretty bold moves. He's the next driver besides Kyle Busch with 4 tires, so he's trying to take advantage of that extra grip he has right now.
Three wide down the back straightaway. Ricky Stenhouse on the outside of that group completes the pass on Ty Dillon.
Side, you good? Side.
Boyer's coming.
Side corner. Clear, clear.
Right behind Chris Buescher, here comes Bowyer with 4 new tires.
Tell you what, Mike, a tip of the hat to that 3 car was restart up near the front there, and he's hanging in there pretty good, running 3rd right in front of Kyle Busch here. It's pretty good.
Kyle Busch has led the most laps. Pole sitter Ryan Blaney, 50 circuits out front. And Denny Hamlin is back in 12th among the drivers who've led today. Hemrick 22nd and Jimmie Johnson at 7th.
Kyle Busch making a desperate move for 3rd place here. He realizes those guys are starting to get away from him in that clean air ahead of him.
You know, Jim, it almost looked like the 18 car's tire pressure were really low when he started this run. It messed him up a little bit, but it's coming to him now.
Busch 1.7 seconds back of Eric Almirola. Out front of Ryan Blaney. Ford's 1-2. Busch's Toyota 3rd. Austin Dillon and Kyle Larson's Chevrolets 4th and 5th. Here's Vince on our leader.
Well, it certainly helps Eric Almirola to be out front. You know, we've talked a lot about Kevin Harvick and Clint Bowyer. They've been up in the top 5 much of the day. Not a lot about Almirola, but they were telling me before the race today, as crew chief Johnny Klausmeier, what a great help it is for their team, the 10 team, to have somebody like Kevin Harvick as a teammate. The high tide rises all ships, and that's certainly been the case. One of the reasons the 10 has been good here is you got the help of a guy like Kevin Harvick as your teammate.
Almirola leading while Harvick's having his struggles. He restarted 22nd. He is now battling Bubba Wallace for 18th. Makes the pass. Long way to go. 65 laps to get there.
Yeah, he's about a straightaway behind Kevin Harvick is. They're coming into turn 4 here. He's coming off turn 2 over there, so he's got about that back straightaway distance behind.
Oh, he's going to need a lot of help with a caution or 2, I think, to get himself back in it. Ryan Blaney looks really good.
Well,
you saw right there, he made some big gains on the 10 of our leader, Eric Almirola.
Getting off the corner really well.
Now Kyle Busch has closed. He's knocked about half a second out of that lead, which is now under 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, he's been consistently about a tenth, that time even a little more than a tenth of a lap faster than these guys battling up front for the lead.
I think what's going to help Kyle Busch is the 10 and the 12 here get to racing each other. He might get caught back up. He's going to need that. He's going to need something to happen to catch back up.
Trick or treat. Candyman's coming.
Knocks another tenth of second off that lap. And I think Ryan Blaney's starting to get a little frustrated because his car is better than Eric Almirola, but when he gets into the tire tracks and that air is punching such a big hole off the back of the 10 car, you can see the 12 of Ryan Blaney sliding around back there, overheating those tires.
I think they really helped that 12 car because he was good on the short run earlier, but now he looks really good on this long run.
Oh, he's going to make a move to the outside.
He's going to the outside. He's going to do it.
That was a great move by Ryan Blaney.
Yep.
Get that clean air and get the momentum, get to the outside.
Almirola's not going to give it up without a fight, and here comes Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that's all Kyle really needed, for those two guys to race each other a little bit, and then he could catch them.
Now we'll see how good is Ryan Blaney out there in that clean air. Yeah. Even though he's only took 2 tires that last stop, that clean air is about as even as you can get with 4 tires of the 18 of Kyle Busch.
60 laps to go, DW. Is your voice going to make it?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I just cut out every now and then.
Okay.
I'm on 7.5 cylinders. I might get wired up here at the end.
Get him a new plug wire, Andy.
And we've had just about a little bit of everything in this race today. It's about all you can ask for.
Very early in this season, but already Ryan Blaney's 2 Penske teammates have been to victory lane, Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano. So not saying the pressure is on, but there's Martin Truex against Ryan Newman, 8th place.
Nice recovery with that 6 car. He had a couple of penalties, and I mean, here he is back in the top 10. Nice job by Newman today.
But Chase Elliott makes the pass on Bubba Wallace. Chase trying to recover from that spin 35 laps ago. And Daniel Suarez right now is in the free pass position. Should we get another caution?
I'll tell you one thing, that 12 car is set sail. He's moving out.
I think right now it's getting really close for second place. Here's the 18 of Kyle Busch. I saw the 10 of Almirola that last time off at turn 4. He slid high, so obviously he's pushing as hard as he can. Just can't hold on to it enough to keep that 18 behind him, I believe.
Yeah, but I think that's what Kyle Busch sees. He sees that 12 driving off. He knows he's got to get going because he doesn't have a whole lot of time to catch him.
Vince?
Well, the 10 of Eric Almirola's just lost the turn in the car. Said he's got to get down really on the flap to get it to hook the turn. That doesn't bode well for him down the stretch.
How about this battle for position 3 wide? Newman on the outside. Hamlin in the middle, and Joey Logano went way down on the flat to make that pass.
Joey did a nice job once he got to turns 1 and 2 to just hook that yellow line, put those left sides up on the apron, and not just cut off that front straightaway to get that position made, but also do a great job getting through the corner.
Hamlin and Newman continue to discuss 10th place.
Discuss it. I like that. They're having a friendly conversation right now.
Daryl, Andy's fixed you up a cup of 30 weight there. Let's see if that helps.
It says motor oil, but I'm not sure.
Motor oil is motor oil, right?
Hamlin makes the pass. Ryan Blaney out front with 53 laps to go. We listened in.
So here's the scenario. We think we're 2 laps short. We really need one more caution. I would go right now, and if we don't get one before like 20 or 30 to go, we'll start saving some.
Not my problem. I'm driving the wheels off of it. It runs out of gas, runs out of gas.
Well, I just wonder if Kyle Busch is using that strategy too, because it seems to me like he's backed off a little bit these last couple laps and is allowing Ryan Blaney. I think he knows if he's going to run down Ryan Blaney and try to pass him, he's going to use up a lot of fuel doing it.
Larry, the lead is 1.6 seconds. Can Blaney pedal it for a while? What do you think?
Well, maybe a little bit, Mike, but the Ford camp is a camp that I checked in with late yesterday afternoon about fuel mileage. And again, their fuel window was somewhere around 78 to 84 laps. Now, I realize all of these drivers pitted with 91 to go, but we've run 17 caution laps. And Jeff Gordon has been in a car most recently. You can save a lot of fuel in 17 caution laps.
No, absolutely. And I think those guys are being a little bit conservative, especially that, you know, Larry, over the radio, they're being extra conservative of what they say.
Brad Keselowski going around Matt DiBenedetto for 19. Boy, Keselowski's had a tough day, and looks like DiBenedetto is a bit off the pace here.
Hey, Mike, Bill France Jr. asked me one time, how do you go so far in a tank of fuel? I said, I got more than everybody else.
Benedetto stays on the lead lap. He's 21st of 24 in the lead lap cars.
The blue switch is red, and I can't change it.
Did he say? They say the blue switches are red.
I didn't get that at all.
All your fans are off.
It looks to me like he.
It's not running. Cutting off. I need to ban.
Stopped running.
Yeah, you run a lot of fans here to try to keep those brakes cool, and I just wonder if they've had an alternator issue and have run that battery low.
They had a good run going. Again, looks like it's not going to be a lead lap finish.
Yep.
We have talked about Matt Benedetto every single race so far this year. I'm positive, not negative things.
He's done a great job, really has.
7th place. Here comes Martin Truex around the outside of Jimmie Johnson.
And again, we've noticed this today. We noticed it yesterday in practice. The 19 of Mark Truex Jr. on the long run seems to have one of the best race cars out there. Just takes him so long to get it going.
Well, that's why I was saying, Jeff, a long run car is great if you have a long run. But look, here's Blaney going into turn 4 here, or turn 3. Good grief. Here comes the 19 car. He's just now getting there. So no matter how good you are, you can't make up that gap. Look at that, Mike, how you go down. Go down in that hole, up on top of that dog leg, and then down into that third turn. That just fascinates me from back here watching it.
The geography of this racetrack is very interesting. Now, the first 12 cars all pitted at lap 221. Here is Stenhouse and Harvick among those that pitted most recently. Stenhouse at 229, Harvick at 235. No fuel concerns there. Trouble is, that's back at 13th place.
Right, that just goes to show you how important track position is and how difficult it is to maneuver through that traffic and make your way back up to the front, even though I think Kevin Harvick has one of the best race cars out there.
Let's go back up front where Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch are the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack, Jamie.
Well, Ryan Blaney's running a setup that was something that Brad Keselowski and the 2 team hit on in the fall. And Brad was running the same thing this weekend, but the 12 and Ryan Blaney been the class of the field. The one concern for them today coming in was just their long run speed. It seems like they got their arms around it, and the only hiccup they've really had today was they had that loose wheel, but they were able to recover. They're on 2 tires right now, and as we've been talking about the fuel mileage situation, the team telling them right now, you're doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing, and we will make it.
Well, Team Penske, not only did they win the championship in 2018 with Joey Logano, but over the last 12.5 races, they've won nearly half of them with their 3 drivers, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney. I mean, tremendous success rate, and that includes the changeover from the Fusion to the Mustang in the Ford camp for 2019.
And Mike, it's funny how it goes. The tires, Blaney's tires, all of a sudden in the last 2 or 3 laps, Kyle Busch has been able to really gain on Blaney. And that's just the difference. Your tires will go, and then when they go away, they're done, and here comes 4 tires.
Well, and remember earlier in this race when Kyle Busch took the lead, he was in 2nd place, and as they're maneuvering through traffic, he was able to pick through it a little bit better and find those weaknesses of the leader and get his car in a position where he could gain that momentum and make that pass fairly easily.
The last time a single team won 3 races in a row, like Penske is trying to do, was Hendrick Motorsports with Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And the last of those races was here. Martin Truex catching Kurt Busch. This is for 6th place. 40 to go. Well, we talked earlier about short runs versus long runs. This is where that long run speed has got to be good to get you to the finish line, which is 39 laps away. We're going to take you Fox side by side with Ryan Blaney leading. 35 laps to go in the Ticket Guardian 500. ISM Raceway in Phoenix. Ryan Blaney leading Kyle Busch by a thin 1 second.
Yeah, but I give Blaney a lot of credit. I think he's been able to extend that lead just a little bit here through some lap traffic.
Traffic has really worked out in Blaney's favor. It's kind of
not working out for him here, though.
Ooh,
almost contact.
So that cost him right there.
Yeah, rookie Matt Tifft was trying to keep from going a lap down.
Boy, that was a lot closer than it looked.
And look, Kyle Busch will close right in as these two Fords get too close for comfort.
Blaney got a little loose off of turn 4 there, drifted up wide. He's probably hoping to get a little bit of a break there, but that's what Kyle Busch does to you. He gets in your head. You know that you've got one of the best behind you, stalking you. You can't make any mistakes.
All right, William Byron comes back on track after a green flag stop. We're looking at 4th place, Austin Dillon and Martin Truex.
Back your entry up like 100 feet. Use less brake, bud. You know what to do. To be faster this way. Yeah, I think it may be. Yeah, you're driving away from. We need a little bit more. Backing off just a little earlier, bud.
Saving fuel. Back off a little early. Save a little fuel. Plus, you don't charge the corner so hard. Doesn't upset the car as much.
Hey, guys, on Austin Dillon and Danny Stockman, they did fuel only at 221, just topped off. They have about 20 more laps on their tires than any of these drivers they're racing with. So pretty good run for this 3-car considering that situation.
No kidding. Really good.
Place. Let's go back to 11th. Ryan Newman and Kevin Harvick. Would you believe Kevin Harvick has not led a lap today?
I don't believe it, but I mean, we've witnessed it. It just, has not been Kevin Harvick, in his type of typical day here at Phoenix.
We saw it at Atlanta. They weren't as good at Atlanta as they normally are. We saw it in Vegas, not as good in Vegas as they normally are, and certainly not as good here today as they normally are. So they know, I think they know they got a little bit of an issue that they've got to work through here. The cars are good, but they're not great.
Denny Hamlin goes past Joey Logano to take over 9th place. In the last 15 races, Team Penske has won just more than half, 8 out of 15. Joe Gibbs Racing has won 2, including Hamlin's Daytona 500 win, and Stewart Haas Racing and Hendrick Motorsports 2 apiece. Kyle Busch eating up Ryan Blaney's lead. Half a second now is the distance. 28 to go, Larry.
Well, 28 to go. That is a magic number because when I looked at the last 10 Phoenix Spring races, the last caution flies normally on the average at lap 284, which is 28 laps to go. And we've actually, Mike, had 3 overtime finishes, including 2016 and 2017, 2 years ago.
And Larry and Jeff, Mike, something that amazes me about Kyle Busch. He can run 3 nights. He can run 3 days, whatever, truck, Xfinity, Cup. He never looks tired. And it's not like at the end of one of these races you can say, well, he's laying down on me. He doesn't. He's up on the wheel right now. He's after that 12 car, just like he hadn't been in the car all week.
The most recent caution came with 51 to go. 26 laps left as Denny Hamlin catches Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, working that outside groove. I'm telling you, he found a little something in that higher groove in practice yesterday. And he's been on these long runs. He's been able to really make that work well. You see right behind him, Joey Logano trying to follow suit of Denny Hamlin using that outside lane.
Picks Hamlin up to 8th here for 12th place. Clint Boyer coming back from that late 4-tire change, along with Ryan Newman.
Yeah, 14
penalties.
14's had a good car today. He ran up front for a while. He just maybe the pit strategy wasn't exactly what it needed to be, but he's had a good car today.
One-third of a second.
Yeah,
first to second.
Last 4 or 5 laps, Kyle Busch has been about a 10th faster, closing in that gap to Ryan Blaney.
Jamie?
Well, it's interesting to watch this 12 camp. The crew chief, Jeremy Bullins, just came off the box and walked down to talk to his fuel man, and he watched the pit stop the last time they came in, and he actually calculated how long that fuel can was in. He wants to make certain that their numbers match up and that they will be able to make it to the end. They are rolling the dice at this point.
Wow.
So, Jeff, you're in the 12, and I'm after you in the 18. What are you thinking?
Well, I just know that I'm punching a big hole in the air, and so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I don't overdrive the entry. I make sure that I keep that 18 in my tire tracks as much as possible.
I'm in the 18. I'm getting frustrated because I've been up there. I got right to his back bumper, but it seemed like this gap between him and me right now, that's as close as I can get. And I'm driving as hard as I can drive, but I'm not being able to close that gap and get up on that back bumper. I'm getting a little frustrated.
Yeah, and if I'm Ryan Blaney, I'm going to be watching that mirror, looking at every different line that the 18 chooses to try to make gains. If he tries to run high to get some clean air, I'm going to move high. If he's running even lower down in turns 1 and 2 on the apron, I'm going to run lower.
Well, we're getting ready to get in a bunch of traffic right here, and that could be the deciding factor, because here comes the 12, the 18 is right here, and we got cars side by side going up through the dog leg.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Right now, Ryan Blaney needs to be looking out as far ahead as he can to try to get through these lap traffic, but also looking in his mirror to see what Kyle Busch is doing. Tough job ahead for Ryan Blaney, but so far doing an excellent job.
Moving underneath 2 drivers running their first Cup race, and gets through there without incident. Bailey Curry and Quinn Houff.
Yeah, Kyle Busch did a nice job getting through those lap cars also.
You know, it seems like that Blaney is better in 1 and 2. He gets down low, and Kyle's been running a higher line down there, losing a little bit of time. Where Kyle makes up all of his time is here in 3 and 4. He sails in here and gets around the bottom.
Yeah, he can carry a lot of speed into the corner, but yet still get the car to turn through the center.
See, watch that gap he closes right there when he really drives in hard. Kyle is right now, if I'm Kyle, I'm saying I got to get up there where he can look in the mirror and see me. Once he sees me, he starts looking back. I got him.
Well, if he's pedaling as hard as he can, Darrell, he is not going to catch Ryan Blaney. This gap, even with the traffic, has remained constant at 1/3 of a second.
Well, and as tight as this battle is, one thing we know for sure, they're not saving fuel right now. So if fuel is going to be an issue, these guys are going to be the first to run out.
Well, Kyle closes big time getting into 3 over here. But he loses so much in 1 and 2 down here. He gets up too high, and Blaney drives away.
6th on the right of your screen, Kyle Larson, Kurt Busch, the teammates, Chip Ganassi, and the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
Now you saw right there, Kyle Busch went high down in turns 1 and 2. He knows now he's in that wake. He's got to start doing something different. Made a big gain down the back straightaway.
All I got to do is get to his bumper, and I'm there.
I'm not sure which is more in jeopardy.
Really tight.
I would want Kyle Busch to pass me on the inside, not the outside.
Ryan Blaney saying the car is tight.
Go 2 back up top.
Oh, here comes a move.
This might get him right here. Here he comes down in the corner. A little bit better. A little bit better.
It's as low as he can go.
You're just going to have to hold him down, try to side draft, take some air off the right side of that 18 car.
On you.
More traffic ahead.
Still full. Still full in the mid. Still there. Tight on you. Tight quarter. Tight quarter.
Wow, man, you see the hands on Ryan Blaney fighting for this lead. The problem Ryan Blaney has, it's still about 15 laps to go.
Clear. Trying to cross you. Half off packing. Packing. No mo half. 1. Jack and a half.
Well, boys.
1.5.
Yep. Adios.
That was a good battle. It was a good fight. I give Ryan Blaney a lot of credit for holding him off as long as he did.
I did exactly what I wanted to do. I got on your bumper.
Yeah, how come you chose the 18 and I got stuck with the 12?
Well, you were doing a heck of a job. I'm proud of you.
Ryan Blaney's lead lasted almost as long as your voice.
Oh, I'm good now. I got a recovery. I had a plug wire off.
14 laps to go. And let's get back to, we're told that Martin Truex has been told that he is good on fuel.
He ran bottom, you gained 6. Saving fuel here, 12 saving fuel. Don't push too hard.
Wow.
Cat and mouse game's going to begin now. And they've got plenty of room to do it with. I mean, Martin Truex Jr. 6 seconds back, so both of these guys can play that game.
Well, once Kyle Busch got the lead, he took off 0.8 of a second now, and that margin growing just a bit.
Yeah, I think what he'll do, he'll get him a nice lead here where he's comfortable, and then he can back it down and save enough fuel to make it to the end. Got to get away from it. Get away from 12, get you a little gap, and then mind the gap and save some fuel.
Aric Almirola led a bunch of laps today. He is 4th, 8.5 back. Austin Dillon in 11th. He's the first Chevrolet in the race, 11 seconds back.
So, Mike, Jeff, what will this be for Kyle Busch? 199?
199 across 3 series.
My goodness.
Will be his 52nd Cup victory. 11 laps away.
Which all that is extraordinary in itself. I mean, there's no doubt this guy's going to go in the Hall of Fame. Those numbers are extraordinary. The question really just becomes, do you compare it to Richard Petty? Because Richard Petty's 200 came at the Elite Cup level.
I just think he'd lay his record down side by side by anybody's in the sport that's ever been in the sport. Nobody has numbers like that. And I mean, you look at his truck wins, his Xfinity wins, his Cup wins, and we're looking at a guy that's going to end up with a couple of 100 wins. That's huge, guys. I don't care who you are.
And it'll probably never happen again. But Richard Petty's wins, yes, some of them were short races, some of them were dirt track races, but they were all against the best drivers of the day in the best equipment that chose to show up on that given day and compete at racing's highest level. I don't think 200 versus 200 is an apt comparison.
And that's why I think what we should do is be putting Kyle Busch on his own pedestal of what he's accomplished, not up against what Richard Petty did.
And then listen, Jeff, you know this, I do too. When I came into sport, they talked about the modern era from 1972 forward. And everything that happened before that was like, well, that was a long time ago and they did it different and we're doing it now. But from 72 forward in the modern era, it's incredible what Jeff's got the most wins in the modern era at 93.
Well, and that's why, and a lot of, this guy's still young. I mean, what, 33 years old. He's got a lot of years ahead of him, winning a lot more races. And I think as that Cup number continues to increase, if he gets up into those 80s and 90s, now, I think it only separates him even that much more from anybody else.
And Kyle himself has said it's going to be a great accomplishment, going to be a great number when we hit it. He said, but it's not the same as what Richard Petty did. He didn't say it was better, just different.
That's right, but
it's different.
Here's the difference in Kyle Busch and the rest of us. We got a trophy case. He's got a warehouse.
There's no debate on that.
Maybe he'll loan you one, Darrell. 7 laps to go. And Kyle has opened up a 2-second lead on Ryan Blaney. He's going to put Paul Menard, the 18th place car, 1 lap down.
And a lot of people give us a hard time about praising Kyle the way we do. Oh, darn, 3 out of gas.
Austin Dillon
that would make me pretty nervous right now.
He pits from 5th place for fuel. Larry didn't see that coming.
The only thing, Mike, is I have to believe they did not get that car full. Remember, they did fuel only that last stop. They were only there for just a little bit of time, and they had to have not gotten that car full.
And Larry, they had to know that because they were telling him to back off and don't run down in the corner so hard and try to save fuel. And you said he had 20 laps. I said, well, then that must not be the problem. But apparently they knew they didn't get it full.
Dillon comes back into the race.
Hey.
1 lap's down, 21st.
Where did this guy come from? 6 seconds back. That tells you how much fuel that 12 car is trying to save and how fast Martin Truex Jr. is.
Well, this changes everything. Think about it. If that AT should run out of fuel, we got Martin Truex winning his first race of the year. That's what I love about these races. They're not over till they're over. Do not take the hats to victory lane just yet.
One thing I can promise you is that 19 is not saving any fuel. You look at his last 10, 20 laps, he has been the fastest car on the track.
If we stay green the next 4 laps, it's going to be about a 70-lap run, green flag run to end this. What are they saying on the leaders' radio?
Ready with your switch if it bobbles. It should not, but if it does, save me some fuel.
I'll tell you, Kyle Busch is so good. I just believe he can save fuel. He can go fast and save fuel. You know why? Because he doesn't use much brake.
Now 2.2, that was his lead at the time. And you see he is pedaling it. It's shrinking down to 2 seconds over Truex, who is also on an economy run. No, it's not on a economy run. Blaney is.
But
Truex is coming.
But they came at the same time. I don't know if maybe he just didn't run as fast at the beginning of this run. And so Cole Pearns told him, hey, go hard. You don't need to save. Larry, what do you think?
Well, guys, they told him to throw the switch. What that is, that's a reservoir in the fuel cell that has a secondary electric fuel pump. They know exactly how much fuel is in that box and how far they can run.
The white flag's waved. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Truex has it down to 1.4. And here comes the Candyman. 52nd career Cup victory for Kyle Busch, Toyota, and Joe Gibbs Racing.
Get out the broom, boys.
Back-to-back week. Sorry, guys. Let you down last week, but that was a cool week right here, man. Thanks. Great work, man. A lot to be proud of this year. Great work this year, guys.
Kyle Busch brings up a good point. Made a little bit of a mistake last week. Had a car that probably could have and should have won that race.
Yep.
It's his 3rd win at Phoenix. And his 12th time sweeping 2 races in a weekend. He has the longest active streak now in the Cup Series. At least 1 victory in each of the last 15 seasons. And since they reconfigured this track, he has won every race he's entered.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
The Cup race last fall, the Xfinity race, and the Cup race today. Today's victory was fueled by Sunoco. Sunoco's fueling victories all season long.
And I think that's what we were saying earlier in that debate. He's just really darn good.
Well, but you know what, Jeff? Sometimes you have to give up good to be great. And I just think Kyle Busch is great.
Yeah, he is.
He spins it to a halt at the start-finish line. Jamie Little's on her way to greet the winner. Standing on the door, waving to the crowd. He got the biggest ovation in driver introductions. Most were cheers, some were boos. But everybody, what a polarizing figure. Everybody has something to say about Kyle Busch.
You've got to appreciate what this guy's doing. You got to.
He captures the flag. Here's Jamie.
Kyle Busch undoing the helmet. He's got the flag. All the fans are standing up on their feet. And the bow that Kyle Busch has become known for. One of the best burnouts we've seen as well. Let him get his gloves off and that helmet, the Hans device. All these fans are sticking around, Kyle, and they are cheering for you right now. I see a lot of M&M shirts out there. In a moment like that, I hear your crew chief, your spotter telling you how close you are in fuel to keep it going. How do you balance watching the fuel, but also pushing hard enough to get Blaney and pass him?
I knew going back before we went green with however many to go that we were going to be right on the verge. And you got to go race hard first, and then you got to worry about fuel afterwards. And once I got there and once I got to Blaney, I was able to kind of save a little bit and try to take care of my tires again for the rest of the traffic that we had to get through and make sure I had enough fuel to make it to the end. But, man, God, this makes last week feel so much stupider. Oh, man, I wish we could have swept last week, too. That would have been pretty awesome to start out this year with 2 weekend sweeps in a row and 3 being in my hometown of Vegas. But we'll just take what we got here today at ISM Raceway and
it's cool to win yesterday for IK9 and the Service Dog 200 in their race, and more cool to win today in this Skittles Camry and get ourselves back to victory lane.
Kyle, you have been a man on a mission, though. 199 wins now across the 3 different series. How do you want to perceive what you are embarking on in this accomplishment?
It's not for me to worry about. It's for everybody else to discuss and talk about and argue over and debate, you know. But for myself and the career that I've had, I've been fortunate to be with a lot of great people and a lot of great sponsors, and those that stick around me, like Joe Gibbs and M&M's and Skittles and Snickers and everybody, Interstate Batteries, that's always been behind me is what it's all about for me, and that keeps me going each and every weekend. And to work with my guys and to take them to victory lane is what it's all about.
Kyle Busch wins at ISM Raceway. Vince?
Well, and he had to take the lead from Ryan Blaney with 16 to go. Ryan led 94 laps today. What's going through your mind when you know the fuel's an issue, the car's starting to tighten up, Kyle is stalking you?
Yeah, just honestly, we hung on better there on 2 tires than I thought we would. It fired off really good, and I got by Eric, and we gapped Kyle a little bit, and I was kind of riding, trying to save tires, save gas. I knew they were telling me we were really close on gas, just doing 2. I think he was kind of riding back there too. I think they knew what situation I was in, but then I started to get real tight, and then I got the lap cars, and I was done. So, and then when we got past the lead, it's just full on fuel save mode. But a good recovery. We had to come back in for a wheel that was going to be loose, and 2 tires was the right call. I don't think we would have run third if it wasn't for that. And a shame we couldn't get money line and 4 to win, but it definitely a good weekend after the start of the year we've had. You know, this is where this team deserves to run, so hopefully we can just keep moving forward.
Yeah, far and away the best finish of the season. 3rd place for Ryan Blaney. Mike?
And he's the first Ford across the line. Kyle Busch is your winner, and here is his career in NASCAR's 3 National Series. Any winning percentage that starts with a 2 is really good. Lots more to come from Phoenix, where Kyle Busch has won today.